shit. My God. We're back. We are fucking back.
It's been a journey.
It's been
in a couple of ways, but
so many journeys. It's been so I did record and post one episode yesterday that was recorded on Monday. Actually, I recorded it with my sisters in the Boston airport on my iPhone. And I posted that, but this is the first actual show. This is ending the hiatus, the 2-week-long hiatus of no new episodes on a regular basis. This is getting back to it. Here in the crypt, Burton and Aaron, we are here, and it's fucking Jaeger time. Clanky. Number one regret that I have when I was in Scotland is I didn't try Jaeger over there. It wasn't on as many menus. So like the one time I actually remember seeing it on a menu, it was like in the morning, and I wasn't ready to start drinking yet that morning. Some mornings I did. But yeah, because you want to know why too. We were at this one restaurant, probably my favorite restaurant that we were at the whole time. It was a bar that they had a picture of famous people that had eaten there. I fuck with you not. Gordon Ramsay and Jimmy fucking Page.
Wow.
Jimmy Page, bro. And it was like a bar. You know what I mean? It wasn't like fancy or anything. It was just a bar. It's called like the Foxhole or something like that. And
is it kind of like famous or rude?
I don't know. But like every single fucking tour guide told us to go there. So it was in Inverness, Scotland. And while we were there, my dad got Guinness. Now, I don't know if I've ever talked on this podcast about beer. I don't drink beer. Like, it doesn't get me drunk fast enough. And, like, whenever I drink it, I always get, like, a headache before I start feeling, drunk at all or anything. And I've never, there was one point in time where I'd drink enough beer to acquire the taste of it. And I started, trying different ones. And I went through the whole thing. Never really changed. So I just kind of fucking stopped drinking it. And now I just drink liquor because I just enjoy it more. So I'm not a big fan of beer in general. I've never liked Guinness at all. I don't really like IPAs and stuff like that much. But my dad he was like, you got to fucking try this Guinness because it's over there. We're closer and everybody says it tastes different over there.
Yeah.
Aaron, it was the greatest beer I've ever had in my life. It didn't even taste like beer at all. It did not taste like beer. It tasted like a fucking milkshake. It was fucking insane.
Huh.
It was insane. So I am bummed that that myth is fucking real. That is so real. I've never, ever, ever tasted a Guinness that tasted fucking anywhere close to what that tasted like. Not even ballpark.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I've never really been I don't know. I guess I've never really tried Guinness before, just because I don't typically tend to I mean, I don't know. You kind of know as far as the color and the texture of it and stuff, how strong it's gonna be, and
thick and black.
Yeah, I always thought of it as mud, gross, fucking
If done right, it can taste incredible.
Yeah.
That's why I'm bummed I didn't try the Jaeger over there. I want to know if that. I mean, I can't imagine Jaeger tasting any better, but maybe.
Where is it from anyway?
Germany.
I don't know. Is it?
Yep.
Yeah. I feel like I should.
The fucking there's actually a cool video on YouTube where it's a tour of the headquarters distillery or whatever in Germany. Yeah, my boss sent it to me once. But yeah, so yeah, we have some trips to talk about. The reason why we're on hiatus is because I went on a family trip to Scotland, and you went.
I went to South Carolina.
South Carolina.
Not quite as quite the excursion, I guess.
Much easier to get to. That's for sure.
Yeah. I just, from all the stuff you were talking about, I was I mean, we had to drive. I think we drove because we actually drove down there. I think when we actually got down there, kind of realized how much because I think it's only 2 hours from a flight.
Mm-hmm.
So I I don't know. It was kind of more about like just the whole experience instead of just like flying down there just to
look
whatever like. So.
I hadn't been before this past week. I hadn't been on an airplane in 15 years. I have not, and I've never, ever, ever traveled this far from where I'm from. The farthest west I've ever gone is Wyoming. And it was like through South Dakota and all that. So it's not like I was going up and down through. It was just the top part of the country. The farthest south I've ever been is Key West, Florida. I have been in, it's the most southern point of the United States, but I have been in more southern waters. But in terms of, because there was one week where I spent a whole week on a sailboat out past Key West with the Boy Scouts. That was an amazing trip. But we, so that would be the farthest south I've ever been, pretty much Key West, Florida. But yeah, now the farthest north or east I've ever been by. So before this, it would have been Toronto, farthest north, and New York City, farthest east. Now both of those are held by Scotland. Like, so I've never, besides Canada, which everyone that grows up in Michigan has been to. It's, it's our border.
No.
Fucking, besides Canada, I've never been outside of the United States until now. At all. Never done it. Never flown across an ocean. Never.
I thought that was crazy.
Well, I'm glad. The first one was at night, and I was kind of glad about that. I was just like, close all the fucking windows. Don't let me see shit. Let me. You got a little TV, but I had a bunch of podcasts lined up, so I was listening to the Sober October pre-show where they're trying to plan what they're going to do for the next Sober October on Joe Rogan. So it was Joe Rogan, Tom Segura, Ari Shaffir, and Bert Kreischer. I was like, perfect. 3.5 hours. Sadly, the flight was 6.5 hours.
Jesus.
Dude, 6.5 fucking hours. It's like, oh, man, it is intense. So yeah, I guess I was just, so first of all, we drive to Toronto from Lansing. And we're going to fly from Toronto to New York City to Scotland. That's the plan.
Well,
fucking everything's going smooth till we get to the Toronto airport, and our flight gets delayed by 5 hours. The reason why it had gotten delayed so badly was because the Delta GPS system was down. And what's crazy about this is while I was gone, I heard an episode of Joey Coco Diaz podcast where he was flying Delta out of Atlanta the same day, and his flight got delayed and he had to miss a show. So he was caught in the same flight delays that I was caught in, which I was like, oh, no shit.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And what's even crazier is that according to all of the people, the podcasts that I listen to, and according to my parents who travel a lot, Delta's the best. Always fly Delta. Don't fuck around with anything else. Well, if this is the best they got, flying ain't shit. Like, it is not even fucking worth it. Like, for the amount of money that it costs, and then they're gonna delay you that bad and fuck up every single. There were people missing connecting flights, like that had to get other places. You know what I mean? Like, all fucking up so many things, and then never offering any kind of a refund, never offering dick. Never give nothing. Fucking other than I'm sorry, dude. So yeah, we're delayed 5 hours. We end up on this fucking tiny ass like bus of like the seats were as comfortable as a bus seat for 2 hours to JFK. The fucking air conditioner was broken, so it was boiling lava hot inside of that fucking airplane. Every single person was sweating. And then when we're on the fucking tarmac, it's even hotter. And we ended up sitting on the tarmac for like 45 minutes because shit was, dude, it got to the point where the captain was saying, I have apologized so many times today. I don't even know what to say at this point. Like, this is so embarrassing. I'm so sorry. Feel free to leave a bad review on Delta. Let them know you're upset, blah, blah, this and that. Like, when the pilot is telling you, like, dude, it was fucked. It was fucked. So already we get to JFK and we're not happy. Fucking, this is ridiculous. And then the fucking flight out of JFK ends up getting delayed a couple hours. But then they tell us that our fucking bags aren't with us anymore. They're gonna show up a day late in Scotland. So we're gonna show up in Scotland for a whole day. We've been sweating our asses off in this fucking plane in these gross clothes. We have another 6.5 hour flight ahead of us, and we're gonna have to sit in these clothes for like another day after that. Dude,
damn.
I was like, all right, guys, let's just pause. Why don't we just spend a nice night in New York City? We can drive home tomorrow. Like, we don't have to do this. Like, I was ready to call it. Like, it was fucking a nightmare. And then finally, we get on this fucking plane to Scotland. We're rolling, and, you know, I've got this. Like, I didn't know really that I had flight anxiety until I found out I had flight anxiety. But I tell you what, alcohol helps. Like, it legit just soothed that. It was crazy. I was like, all right, I'm going to be all right. But, like, it's only bad when you start to think about the situation you're in.
Yeah.
When you think about the fact that you can't, like, open a window. Like, that started to really freak me out. I started to feel, like, real claustrophobic. And I'm not claustrophobic at all.
Yeah.
I'm not. Like, I go to fucking, and I voluntarily go down into underground vaults and shit. I'm not fucking claustrophobic at all. But the idea of that, I don't know, up there, it was just freaking me out.
Well, I think it's something, because I've thought about that, because I was kind of in the same boat, except I've never been on a plane ever at all to anywhere.
I don't recommend it.
Well, I mean, obviously, after this, but that's something that's always kind of like, I don't know, like you're in this giant metal tube in the sky with a bunch of other random people.
Strangers.
Yeah. And
that have all kinds of diseases.
Yeah. And you can't like open any windows. You can't like walk outside or anything. Like you're confined to that space.
You're very confined. Yeah. So when you start thinking about it, it gets bad. But but I think that's the difference between someone with real anxiety and me, is that I have the ability to stop thinking about it. Whereas I think if someone with real anxiety doesn't have that ability. I can just stop, and go on to something else.
Yeah.
I can do that. So
I feel like you almost have to.
Yeah.
Because if you get too trapped up in it, it's like.
Mm-hmm. Podcasts help. That's why they give us fucking. The movie situation is solid.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie, lots of choices. They even had TV, so I could watch Parks and Rec in the office, or you know, like
something to distract you from all the shit.
I watched Night School with Kevin Hart.
That's pretty good.
Very good. I laughed a lot. Yeah. I thought it was very funny. I was drunk, but I thought it was very funny. I love Kevin Hart so much. But
I just watched that recently too.
I liked it. Tiffany Haddish, I think. Yeah, she's good. Very good. Very funny. So we get so by the time we land in Edinburgh, we've been up for about 24 hours at this point. Now, I have at this point I have now been 48 hours without cannabis.
Oh man.
First night was rough. I could not sleep.
Oh, I bet.
I could not sleep a wink. So I had gotten like 3-4 hours of sleep and then stayed up for the next 24 hours. But you know, here's the thing. Like, I don't know how it is for anybody else, but for me, whenever I'm on a trip of anywhere, if I'm on a journey, no matter how fucking tired I am, when I get to the destination, it's like wind. You get your second, third, fourth, and fifth wind all at the same time. You're excited. You're highly alert. There's no way you're going to sleep right now. You know what I mean? You're up and ready to explore. That's how it is for me every fucking time. So when we landed, everyone else was tired as shit. Some of them had slept on the plane. They were like limping off the fucking plane. I was like, let's go. Where the fuck are we right now? Think about where we are and what we just did.
Yeah.
Like, here, let me just, this is, on the plane, one of the cool things they had, one of the things I kind of liked was they gave you, on the screen, you could track your flight. And so it gives you the time, the distance to the destination, time to destination, local time origin, local time at destination, the tailwind, the ground speed, the altitude, and the outside temperature. So when I took this picture, We time to destination 3 hours. So this was halfway through the flight. We were flying at 32,977 feet.
That's wild.
33,000 feet in the air. 33,000 feet in the air. The tailwind was 148 miles an hour. We were flying at 626 miles an hour. And the outside temperature was negative 49 degrees. We were like in space.
That was like above the clouds.
We were, far above clouds, dude. We were like in space. Like that was trippy. And they give you this little screen that shows you where you are and where you're going and everything. Yeah, that was nice. I really liked that. That kind of helped actually. So yeah, I'm looking at that screen for a portion, like periodically throughout the flight, right? So I'm like, do you guys fucking realize what we just did? Like I was on high alert basically. So we get through fucking all 6 of us. There's 6 of us on this trip are going through customs. Dad and my grandma get through right away. All the rest of us, they're like, go see the person. So we just have to go up to someone, talk to them for 4 seconds, and then go through. So we do that. We go through, and there's this big horseshoe baggage carousel and some benches down in the middle of the horseshoe. Dad and Grandma are sitting at just the closest front bench, just sitting there. They just told us our bags are gone or whatever. I'm walking down the hallway. I'm at an 11. All right, I'm just going.
Yeah.
I look up at the fucking baggage carousel. I see my fucking bag.
Oh.
I'm like, oh my, because it's about to go under the thing. I dart up to it, grab it, check it. Yup, that's my bag. I look to the next one. Oh, that's another one of ours. Our fucking bags had made it, despite what the fucking idiot told us.
That's cool.
So, miracle as soon as we got there. Fucking as soon as we got there. Then we like hop on this train that takes us to into the downtown city, and then we get to the fucking hotel, which doesn't even want us to check in until like 4 o'clock, and it was like 11 a.m. their time. So we end up kind of like just starting to walk. We can leave our bags up there, and we end up starting to fucking walk around a little bit. I'm feeling pretty good, like, awake 24 hours, but feeling pretty good. Fucking
I think with that, there's a certain point that you reach where it's like, like it gets to, once you're up for,
you
from
just
like
kind of stop feeling.
Yeah.
Like
if you're up from like 8 a.m. to like 6 or 7 the next day, you're just like,
exactly.
Fuck it.
Exactly.
May as well just stay up and just.
And yeah, so we land at 11 a.m. We'd been up for 24 hours already, but it's 11 a.m. here. So if we go to bed, we're going to have jet lag.
Yeah.
So I was just like, stay up until
the next
9,
night.
10, 11 o'clock or whatever.
Yeah.
I ended up only getting 3 hours of sleep the next night as well. We'll get to that. But
I think we both kind of had that same experience.
Oh my God, dude. Well, no, that was the first night. The second, third, and fourth night. So I think the second, third, and fourth night, me and my 2 sisters had our own room.
Oh.
So it was just us 3 in a room. Now, while we're sitting in the hotel lobby, kind of like half waiting for them to get our shit together, it's called the Old Waverly in Edinburgh, and it's a historic hotel. And I'm like, man, I wonder if this place is haunted. So I look it up. And I just search Old Waverly Hotel Haunted. That's my Google search, all right? You want to talk about something that triggers a borderline panic attack in me almost instantly.
Yeah.
Like, I was okay. Like, flying was very stressful, but I was okay. I did it. Up for 24 hours, so I'm on high alert, but I'm also like, and I haven't had fucking weed in like 48 hours at this point ish. So everything is just mixing and churning, and things are, out of whack and out of balance and all this. The second fucking Google result that I saw for searching Old Waverly Hotel Haunted was, this place has bed bugs. Now, I've never told my bed bug story, I don't think, in full great detail on this podcast, but I had an experience that gives me nightmares to this day. Like, that whole experience was such a fucking nightmare for me. Like, ungodly nightmare. it's not the bed bugs that freak me out. It's the situation that they cause that freaks me out. That's what it is. It's not the bugs themselves. I could give a fuck less. But it's the whole situation that they cause. So I see that and everything just shuts down in my body. Like all the good mood, everything went away. And I had like tunnel vision on that. And fucking, so as we and I'm like freaking out, not in a, not doing good. Fucking we end up getting into the rooms, and I go through in every single one of our rooms and check everything. Because I know how to look for these little fuckers. I did not have the proper equipment to look for them. All I needed was an LED light, and I didn't have one. But I did not find any. Not only did I not find any of them, I didn't even find any signs of them in any room of our rooms. So that made me feel better a bit. But then by the second or third day, like no one had any bites or anything. So I was like, all right, I think we're clear. But yeah, so that leads me to my next thing. Old 600-year-old historic Gothic buildings are stunning and beautiful to look at. I think I texted you, if I were to design a city, I would want it to look like this. Like this is like Gotham on steroids. You know what I mean? This is fucking awesome.
Well, I was seeing all the pictures and stuff, and there were these big, like, I don't know what you call them, like, I don't know if they're
spires.
Like, yeah,
that's what I kept saying. Oh, another arch spire.
Well, like there was, I think there was, I don't know, there was like that one that was kind of like, I don't know if it was like before the sun came up or whatever. There was that big like kind of like dark one, black one that was like,
that big black one was literally in front of our hotel.
Yeah,
that was right out front of our hotel.
That's what I thought. That's kind of how it looked. Yeah. It looked like it was through a window and stuff.
Yep,
I was like,
that's one of the ones Dad took. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, that thing was sick, and I didn't find out until the last day that there was a staircase in it, and I could have gone up it. I didn't know that. I was like, fuck. I thought it was just a thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, that thing was fucking sick.
Well, I kind of noticed like all the buildings have that same kind of
Gothic,
like, old,
just real. Yeah. It was funny. We did do one tour where it was just a double-decker bus that drives around. And they tell you stuff about the city.
Yeah.
Fucking one of the there's one building in the whole city that was designed and built in the 1960s, and it literally looks like all the shitty buildings in Detroit. And they're like, this is what happens when you fucking let people come in. It's just like they were like ranting about it. It was very funny, but it did like stick out like a sore ugly thumb in the middle of all this beautiful stone architecture. These buildings are magnificent to look at. These buildings are not fun to stay in. Like, for the love of God, stay in an updated fucking hotel. The first one, so the Waverly, in our room, we didn't have heat. And it was raining and got down to 45 degrees. And the windows, weren't exactly wonderfully sealed. So it was cold as shit in our fucking rooms. So that was annoying as fuck. And yeah, just like not a lot of fucking good, none of the rooms had vents. There's no central anything, you know what I mean? So, just lots of fucking amenities that just aren't there, you know what I mean?
I get that. I could see where that was.
The shower was nice though, I will say that.
Yeah. Even looking at like the room and stuff from all the like the pictures and like video and everything, I kind of tell it was a little like, a little old school as far as like the windows and all like the.
Oh yeah, our fucking in the first hotel, our view was fucking a scaffolding. Shit was under construction. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? But oh well.
Did you just stay in one spot the whole time?
No. We stayed in two spots mainly. The first one, Edinburgh, and that's the capital. That's the main city, with all the cool buildings and stuff.
How much of the actual like city and stuff did you see?
I'd say pretty much all if not most of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not.
Is that like the capital or is it just the?
Yeah, it's the capital of Scotland, and it's not Like in terms of square mileage, it's got to be way, way smaller than Detroit. Like in terms of square mileage. So
yeah, that's crazy.
So you can see it all. You know what I mean? Fucking, and this is. So the roads there were built before cars. You know. So were the buildings. So
that's true.
Like none of the roadways are for cars, but that's what's being used on them now. So like I'm talking, dude.
I picture like, because I've seen. I mean, I know it's in like, I don't know. I just think like old like horse and buggy kind of like brick roads kind of. Is it? Sort of.
Lots of brick roads,
like
but lots of normally paved too.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of both. But what it really comes down to is how fucking narrow they are.
Yeah.
Like I'm talking, I don't understand how I didn't see a single fucking rear view mirror come off. Like I'm talking strands of hair close on a regular basis, and they just don't give a fuck. They're like, this is normal, like for them. Like and seeing, and I do as much as I tried to figure it out, I could not figure out their intersections. Their intersections are fucking weird. Like I don't know how you know when to go and when not to go, and like I mean they have lights, the same lights we do, but no speed limit signs anywhere. And I traveled 3.5 hours within the country on roads, so. Never once saw a speed limit sign anywhere.
Was it like heavy traffic and shit, or was it just like
in Edinburgh?
Yeah.
The rest not so much.
Yeah.
Well,
like what's the difference between like the, I don't know, like the general like population, like people on foot versus like how many cars are on the road and stuff? Is it like, would you say that there was like more like foot traffic or more like cars and stuff?
I'd say, I mean, there was a lot of foot traffic for sure. I wouldn't say, like, don't picture like New York or Chicago kind of foot traffic or car amounts. But what would be good? It's hard to think of a good analogy on it. Like maybe downtown Detroit on a game day.
Okay.
Kind of a thing.
Yeah. Like busy, but not, like it makes sense. Like it's kind of like
it's definitely busy, but but it's not impossible. You know what I mean? So yeah, the no speed limit signs, that was, and how close all the cars had to be. Actually being on roads where they're driving on the opposite side, the only time it's an issue is when there's a curve. And for a half a second, you forget, so it looks like a car is just coming straight into you, but it's not. Like that, like because of the angle of whenever you curve to the right, mostly.
Yeah.
Because of the angles and where you are on the road, it really looks like that thing is in your lane and about to smash into your face, and that's freaky sometimes. Let's see. What the fuck? Oh yeah. There was one of the tour guides said this phrase, and it described exactly the way I was feeling since I got there. Since the first day we got there, I'm looking at this beautiful old Gothic building, and what's right in front of me inside of it is a fucking McDonald's. I'm like, no, what are you doing here? Like, leave. Go make your own building. Like, fuck off. Get out of this beautiful fucking... What is this? One of the tour guys called it commercial vandalism. Oh. I was like, I like that phrase. I like that phrase a lot because that is exactly how I feel about it. That describes it perfectly. When you see a fucking 600-year-old beautiful Gothic stone building, there's a goddamn Burger King next to a fucking McDonald's next to a fucking KFC. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck... Leave. Nobody wants you here. God. One of the weird things about Scotland, especially Edinburgh, for me personally, was like they have, like here in America, your typical place will have their Italian restaurants, Mexican restaurants, Chinese restaurant, sushi, they'll have the variety. Same there.
Yeah.
They don't have like Scottish restaurants, really.
Is there anything like delicacies there, like specialties or anything?
Well, they're like their thing or whatever is haggis.
Okay.
Do you know what that is?
Yeah.
It's like the innards and everything. Basically a hot dog. I don't think I ever actually tried it, but my mom did, and she said it just tastes like ground beef, like nothing, like a hot dog. But they're like I think their kind of real thing, like that's their local thing, but I think their real thing is, because it's an island essentially. So they're on the fucking water, and the fish and chips are unreal.
Yeah.
Like the fish is really fucking good. So I think that's kind of more like I don't know. That's what I kind of associated with them at this point.
Because that's one of the places that like I've heard about a lot, but I've never really like looked into too much like what the whole like culture is and stuff there.
That was the other thing. It's a very like all there. I didn't find any Scottish TV shows. It was all American TV. I watched NCIS and Big Bang Theory over there. Like fucking. One thing, they don't have FCC. So they swear and show nudity on normal TV. We watched Deadpool.
That's wow.
I was like, all right. It had commercials, but nothing was cut.
Huh.
So
I never knew that.
Dude, I didn't think about that either. That was pretty. I was like, oh, all right, that's sweet. All right.
Kind of different.
Yeah, I like that.
Kind of just shows like how open their culture is, I guess, to like.
It does seem that way, but then something that freaked me out a little bit was a lot of the places so my phone would only really work on Wi-Fi, so I was checking everywhere I went for Wi-Fi, and a lot of them, to get on the free Wi-Fi, they're like, give us your name, address, zip code, and phone number. I'm like, why the fuck you need all that for me to get on your Wi-Fi? Like, no. So a lot of places I said no. Like, what is that? So, like, it seemed like online, like, okay, yeah, I know any quote-unquote privacy we have online here is just an illusion, but at least we have the illusion. Like, over there, it seems like real blatant, like you have no privacy online. It seems like. That's what it felt like. I could be wrong, but that is what it felt like based on that. Yeah, I was surprised by how Americanized it was, honestly. That was a big shocker for me, personally. And a lot of, like, if you've been to, like, Mackinac.
Yeah.
You know what a typical, like, northern Michigan souvenir shop looks like, right?
Yeah.
Same
shit.
Same, like, it's just all Scottish. It's just all, like, fucking that themed instead of Michigan themed or whatever themed state you're in, you know? Like, it's pretty much the same, all the same kind of stuff.
It's funny that you mentioned that, because we were, because, I don't know, visited a bunch of shops and stuff, and, like, the weirdest thing was not seeing the fucking mitten on anything. It was a different state or whatever.
This is all the same shit we have. It's just not the same logo.
Yeah. I remember saying that too, and I was like, wow, that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so used to looking for that, and it's just not there. Like, different, like, slogans or, like, you know.
And then you go, oh, that's why ours are better.
Yeah.
But yeah, there were some I didn't know J.K. Rowling had written a lot of stuff, like including some of Harry Potter there, and there's a specific spot in the city of Edinburgh that is believed to be the inspiration for Diagon Alley. So I went to Diagon Alley.
Yeah, I saw that picture. It
was pretty dope. That was dope. It's just, some shops or whatever. Yeah, it was crazy to me how. Oh yeah. So, am I wrong about this? I always thought the Scottish were big drinkers. Like, is that just me?
I mean,
is there a
I don't know.
Like, I know it's associated with Irish too.
I was say I've heard more Irish than
definitely more Irish, but I always thought it was Scottish too.
Yeah.
I thought, but because especially since they have whiskey, they got the Scottish whiskey, which is so big. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Dude, let me tell you something. Every time I asked for a double, I got looked at crazy. And I don't think I ever actually got one, except for in Canada.
That's weird.
and dude, when the whiskey, son of a bitch, I meant to start this podcast completely differently, and I just, god damn it, fuck.
You just edit it.
Fuck no, I don't want to edit it because that would sound weird. Because Well, I'll just do it right now. So the whiskey, Ron Swanson in Parks and Rec drinks is Lagavulin.
Yeah.
And they did the episode where he went to the distillery and everything. I sadly didn't get to go there because it was in the complete opposite direction of everything else we were doing. But I tried Lagavulin over there, and it was good. But when you ask for a Lagavulin neat, I fuck with you. So that's just it in a glass. That's it. No ice, nothing. Oh yeah, that's something else I gotta tell you about. I'm talking. I'm being generous in saying half a finger. That's their pour. Is like half a finger. Like I'm talking, could fit in a Dixie cup. Less, like fill up half a Dixie cup. Like barely a shot. This is not a full ounce shot. I'm sorry. No way. And they're charging like $10 for that. I'm like, it is hard to get drunk here. What the fuck? I was very surprised.
They just want you to taste it. They don't want you to actually like
drink. Come on. But okay, here, like, I've already. All right, man. God damn it. I really meant to start this podcast different.
Let me step away real quick.
Okay. Here. All right. So yeah, this is how I meant to start. Like, I've already fucking kind of like bitched a little bit about the travel, and we'll get more. Oh yeah, that's the other thing I want to mention before I forget. Ice is an American thing.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, apparently. Like, you kind of have to ask for ice in any drink. Like, they don't have ice machines in their hotels.
That's weird.
Like, and when they do give you ice in a drink, it's just a little bit. It's not what you like normally get here at all.
Huh.
Like, ice is apparently that's not there very much.
I thought that was just like universal,
right?
Like,
isn't that fucking weird?
I wouldn't have guessed that was like specific to.
Apparently it is, and apparently it was that way in other. Like, my parents said, yeah, it's normal in Europe. Like, ice isn't big in Europe, at least.
That's weird.
Like, what the fuck? But yeah, so this is how I wanted to start this podcast, because in a lot of ways, I'm just gonna like this is I'm just gonna be honest, like. In a lot of ways, this trip wasn't exactly an easy thing for me to agree to. I don't like the idea of being gone for 10 whole days. I am responsible. I have, an extraordinarily rare reptile that I am responsible for and deeply in love with. And so, like, first of all, off the bat, that means we need someone to come to the house and stay here the entire time we're gone to take care of her. And it all worked out fine and everything, but at the end of the day, the person that we got to come take care of her was one of my cousins, someone who was never taken care of a reptile in their life. So, like, that was freaking me out. Because, like, you know what I mean? Like, the idea of my pet dying because I went on a vacation, like,
yeah.
That is disgusting to me. Like, that is sickening. Like, can't even deal with that reality. So that was kind of but at the end of the day, I'm lucky enough to have a fucking awesome cousin, and she did an amazing job, and everything worked out really good. But there's that and there's just there's lots of tumultuous times in my life right now. Fucking didn't have a fucking car. Job is kind of, on the rocks a little bit at the moment. And, there's just a lot going on that I didn't necessarily feel like I should be stepping away for 10 days at this moment in time. You know what I mean? And on top of all that, it was still, expensive. It's expensive. Like, Jesus, I still had to spend a lot of money. Even though, like, my parents they got the rooms, they got the tickets, which is amazing. And I can, going to have to repay them one day somehow. But
that's pretty much exactly how I feel.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
big time.
That's real.
Big time. Something's coming. But and the whole airplane thing I didn't want to do. So it was just not an easy thing for me to just fucking like agree to. And then when it starts off with these massive delays and staying up for 24 hours and I can't sleep and I'm having a hard time eating because I don't have an appetite and like all this stuff, like and then the bed bug thing freaking me out from, all of that was just really building. You know what I mean? There was a lot of things building. But then you come into the mix, Aaron, and you send me this quote from Anthony Bourdain that just like made my bones shake. And this is how I wanted to start the podcast, but this shit made my bones shake.
I think I saw that real quick, because I'm pretty sure after I found that was like it was either the night before we were leaving or maybe like a day or so before, but it was kind of like I don't know. I just saw it and it just kind of stopped me, kind of probably for the same reasons,
dude. But, big time.
Yeah. So
Anthony Bourdain says, travel isn't always pretty. It isn't always comfortable. Sometimes it hurts. It even breaks your heart. But that's okay. The journey changes you. It should change you. It leaves marks on your memory, on your consciousness, on your heart, and on your body. You take something with you. Hopefully, you leave something good behind. That fucking shit was ringing in my ears the entire rest of the trip after you sent that to me. It was just like ring, like every time I was like irritated by something or anything, like that just like rang in my ears and just like leave something good behind.
Yeah.
And I didn't really know, like full disclosure, I didn't really know how to do that other than, you know, just being as nice and as positive to everyone I met as possible. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And yeah, so that really, that's how I wanted to start this podcast, was that, because that really fucking struck a chord with me in a big bad way. And yeah, so thank you for sending me that. That actually helped a lot throughout this trip. So yeah.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I just figured like, you know, and it was kind of weird too, because when we were first like talking about these like trips and stuff, I don't think it ever like registered in my head that it was happening at the same time.
Well, not until like the last time we hung out before we both left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so like I saw that, and then I figured like I'd, you know, send it to you or whatever, and because I was kind of, I don't know, like I was just kind of not really like tripping about the whole like long hours and stuff as far as like the drive and everything like that, because like for the most part I tend to enjoy longer car rides and stuff
easy.
like that. Yeah. Well, flying's pretty different.
You can just go.
Yeah, but you know, and at the same time, like, you know, not done it for a long time, and having not like, you know, like just gone, you know, like
gone anywhere.
Yeah. It was kind of, you know, it was a little. I think like the night before I maybe got like 4 hours of sleep or whatever.
Oh yeah. There's definitely, you get excited. Yeah. You know, everything. It's like, oh, it's almost go time.
But I saw that.
Everything.
Yeah.
Like,
but I saw that and I was like, man, I should probably just send that, because
I'm so glad you did.
Yeah.
I'm really glad you did, honestly.
Because it's true, you know, like
it is.
Traveling sucks sometimes.
It does. It absolutely does. It's not always easy.
Yeah.
Like when you yeah.
But I mean, at the end of the day, like that's kind of part of it, you know. Like,
well, that's the other thing too. Is I was so paranoid about the luggage, because one of the time where I have flown before, where they lost our luggage and we never got it back, and there were literally irreplaceable items I can never duplicate ever again in my life. No one can. There were items in that suitcase that was lost that man, like, because we had gotten what they were, and like to this day, if I had them, they would be on display in this crypt right now, guaranteed, without fathom of a doubt. I had pictures. We had gone to Universal and Disney, and we went on the original King Kong and the original Jaws rides that were the best rides ever in existence. And I had like the pictures that they take while you're on the ride, and then you get them as a souvenir at the end, and they're in the dope ass fold out frame and everything. Lost forever, and those rides no longer exist.
Damn.
They took them away. They're gone forever. So the idea of losing my suitcase, my non-checked luggage, paranoid me to the point where the only things I put in the non-checked luggage were things I could easily replace. So what was not in that suitcase? A single one of my T-shirts. All of my T-shirts, because I only brought tourist shirts, were on the carry-on. And let me tell you something, my fellow metalheads. Let me tell you something. Anywhere you go in the world, suit up. Armor up. Wear the shirt. Wear the tour shirt. Wear the all black. Wear the fucking Black Dahlia murder baseball hat. Fucking wear it all, okay? Because let me tell you something. I saw many metalheads in Edinburgh. I couldn't believe it. I got multiple compliments on my Dahlia hat. Like, I didn't get a single comment on any of the shirts I was wearing, but the Dahlia hat fucking like brought the thunder, and it was incredible. Like, every time I got the goosebumps every single time. One guy was American. He was in our hotel, and he was American for sure. And I think what was he wearing? Like I
think you told me.
I did tell you. Agnostic front.
Yeah.
I think he was wearing an agnostic front shirt or something. So it was a hardcore band, I'm pretty sure. Something like that. And he's like your hat, man, you got good taste. And I saw his shirt, I was like, you too. But my parents told me they had seen someone at breakfast with a Lamb of God shirt on, and I saw people walking around with Maiden shirts on, and some other people that didn't have band shirts on, but like everything else, they're clearly a metalhead. Oh Jesus! If they're not, what are you doing? Even this like fucking unbelievably gorgeous girl said something about my hat. I was like, in a Scottish accent, I was like, oh my God, this is happening. She's like, I saw them. I was like, so did I.
Like 6 times.
Don't act like a nerd. Don't act like a nerd. It was, yeah. So that made me so much more comfortable, like just knowing that that's a thing. I did check out some, I did end up finding, I mean, maybe there are other ones that are better or whatever, but I did find stores that had CDs, like music stores.
Yeah.
And
I was trying to look for that, but.
Put it this way, at least we have FBC. Like, if nothing else, like theirs were less, like not a lot of CDs at all. It was weird because they were kind of like. It wasn't a store that just sold music. That was the thing.
It's like kind of like a thrift shop sort of.
Yeah, not quite. Like, it's more of a store than that, but yeah. So the CD stores, at least the ones I found, were fairly underwhelming. I also didn't find any venues. And I think my theory, though, is that a lot of people... And my theory based on being there, looking around for venues, and then actually looking up bands' European tour dates. I started doing that while I was over there. Not a lot of people come through Edinburgh. Like, I didn't see very many bands with that date on their list. A lot of them are different parts of the UK. So I think people that live in Edinburgh, like people like you and me in Lansing, capital city, that always have to travel an hour or so for a fucking show.
Kind of the same.
Yeah. It's my theory, at least. Like Glasgow or just down in London.
Yeah, I have. No, you say that. I have, because to be honest, like I kind of had to like look up where in the world it was.
Scotland?
Like, I mean, like...
Me too.
Having never traveled, like, outside of the States or whatever, like, kind of ignorant American...
I just don't know. I mean,
like,
I know what that part of the world looks like and everything. I just don't know the exact layout.
Yeah, kind of the same.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know, I was kind of looking it up and stuff, and, like, I don't know, like, kind of like what you're saying, a couple of places, like, it seems like I've seen way more, but it seems more like theater stuff and, like, bigger, like,
like what would come here and be on Broadway.
Yeah.
Kind of a thing, yeah.
Because I think, because Architects is from the UK.
Yeah.
And I think that they just did a full run through there, and it was a bunch of places in like Glasgow and stuff. So
my in high school, my theater class always went to Edinburgh during the summer.
Cool.
That was a big trip.
Yeah.
So I think you're right about the plays, and Shakespearean kind of stuff.
I'd probably. I mean, I'm not really into that, but I'm sure like seeing something like that there would just be kind of a different experience. It'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, yeah. I think it would be a very cool experience. I would totally do that.
Plus, I imagine like the theaters and stuff are insane.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, dude.
Restored and like kept up and stuff.
Well, I mean, we are very lucky in Michigan in that sense. We have some very beautiful theaters in Detroit, like the Fillmore and the Fox Theater and the Detroit Opera House. These are places where architects got to play, and it's very beautiful. But I got to imagine there are some places there that are 600 fucking years older than this country. Like, that's crazy.
I mean, I've seen a couple of different like live videos and stuff, and just like there's a big giant like open floor, and then there's like a balcony with a couple of different like things on the side there where people are watching out from. It just seems really like,
yeah,
I feel like that's something I need to like do at least once in my life.
Yeah. Like yeah. Well, yeah, to kind of jump back for a second.
Yeah, sorry.
No, rants are good. The fucking and I'm jumping way back anyway. It's just something that just popped in my head. The car. Fuck, what was I just gonna say? God damn it! Now it's gone again. Oh no. Oh well. Damn it! I lost it.
About shows or about?
No, it was actually about fucking cars.
Oh.
Oddly enough, it was about like something about the driving. Oh, public transit.
Yeah.
But that's all that you were asking about, like how many cars to people walking. There were more people on buses and trains than in cars, I think. And there were actual trains that ran through like the actual city. But here, so most of Europe is on it, but like the idea in Europe is you can get from one part of Europe to the other in like 6 hours on a train. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's one of the cool things about it. But here's the kicker. Now, okay, according to my sisters, who are much more world traveled than I am, they've been many, many places, both of them. And Katie is actually leaving to Africa again, her second or third time in a couple weeks. Grace, on July 2nd, is leaving to Germany for 3 weeks. So, like, they're much more world traveled. They've been over the ocean more times than I have, for sure.
Yeah.
Many, many more times. According to them, public transit in other countries is better than what we experienced in Scotland, because the public transit in Scotland, like the trains were uncomfortable and not that good. The buses, being on a double-decker bus is kind of cool, but at the same time, like you know, just public transit, like you have to sit here and then wait for your stop. You know what I mean? Like, that's just annoying. Like, you know.
Yeah.
Like,
well, it sounds like it wasn't like a one, like a.
But what? One what?
Well, I just kind of like a one-way thing. Like it was multiple different like stops. I mean, I don't know. I figured because like I don't know. I kind of like the way you're describing it. It's more of like kind of how it is here versus like how it is anywhere. Like
yeah. It's well, that's what I'm saying. Is I figured in a place where public transport's more popular than here, I thought it would be better than here, and it didn't seem to be.
Yeah.
But then again, you know, this is coming from a fucking American who grew up in the place where cars were invented and everything was built for the car, and like that's our way of life. It's a thing. When we get our license when we're 16, it's a thing to be celebrated. You know, that license is your ticket to freedom. That's how we're brought up. You know what I mean? Like that license is your ticket to fucking anywhere you want to go. Like fucking.
That is kind of interesting how you say that.
They don't have that there. I don't think it's not the same there. You know what I mean? Like. So, and the cars aren't and there were like a whole bunch of fucking cars that I'd never seen before, like car brands I'd never even heard of. Like I was like, what me and my grandma were like, what the fuck are these things? Like she even asked. It was funny. My grandma loved the taxis. Like the taxis were all this one kind of car, and she was like, "Those things are so fucking cool." And so she asked one of the people, "Who makes those things? I've never seen one before." He goes, "The London Cab Company makes their own fucking cars. They're all from the London Cab Company kind of cars." So, and they did like typical fucking like what you'd actually imagine on the streets of London kind of a car.
Yeah,
like it was cool.
I picture a lot of like minis.
Not,
Like,
I didn't see
no?
any. I saw.
Maybe that's more like UK. I
Yeah.
guess.
Well, no, this was the UK. The England and Scotland is the UK, and it's one island. That's all it is,
yeah.
and that's the UK.
was
But I think more
ignorant showing through again.
off that island. Yeah, I think more like, because I think those are Italian Mini Coopers. I think
Seems like it.
something like that. So yeah, I think they'd be bigger over there. But I did see a lot of like Ferraris and stuff, so that was sweet. Let me see here. Oh yeah, no. Oh, two things real quick. No high fructose corn syrup in anything at all. All good, solid, natural ingredients in pretty much everything.
Yeah.
And as soon as I got back, I had one. We were stuck in the fucking other airport for 9 hours, so I had a sip of Coke, and it tasted like asshole in comparison to the Coke over there. I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" Oh yeah. Also, I don't know if I told you this or not, Aaron. Another thing that fucked with my sleep, the sun didn't actually set ever. At no point. Put it this way, it got.
I do remember. Sorry, I do remember you sending me like pictures and stuff of it, and it looked kind of like dusk a little bit, but it was like the whole. Was it like the whole time?
Yeah.
Like
it got dark, but at no point. At no point was it dark enough to see stars in the sky. It got just right there on that edge.
Yeah.
To where there was always enough light in the sky. That was trippy as a motherfucker. There was one night where I was up all night that I found there was like 3 episodes in a row of X-Files. I was like, done. Fucking, and I had like a half a pint of Jack, and I was just going to town. And it was like 1:30 a.m. I sent Preston a picture of sun in the sky, and then again at 3 a.m. an hour and a half later. Yeah, dude.
I remember seeing that.
Dude, it was fully bright. See, according to like them or whatever, according to like my Yahoo weather app, the sun technically set at 11:45 and started to rise again at like 4. But at 1 a.m. I saw light in the sky, and at 3:30 it was full on light in the sky, like full on morning. So, yeah, like the sun.
That's kind of interesting.
And it's just because it's so far north.
Yeah.
It's like fucking. I didn't realize how close to goddamn Greenland I was. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, it was crazy.
Wow.
It's a trip.
I would never thought that was something.
I didn't see. That's why it was such a trip.
Yeah.
Is because I did not expect it.
Yeah.
Like, had I known that going in, I'd be like, interesting. Okay, we're gonna deal with this. But not knowing it and just waiting for it to get dark, and it never does. Like, whoa.
It always kind of seems like from all the pictures and stuff, it seems like when it like just sets or whatever, and it's still light for a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, I imagine that's kind of what it was.
Yeah. Yeah.
All the time.
Yep.
Like,
Yep. At least from like 11:30 to 3 a.m. for those 4 hours or so. Yeah.
Huh.
But I'm talking like at like 10:30, it was still like it is here at, probably 7-ish or 8-ish.
That's weird.
Yeah.
I mean, that, kind of goes to show like how you don't really think about like where you're at in the world in comparison to like where the sun is at and stuff. Because I mean, it's kind of, I don't know, it sounds kind of dumb, I guess, put that way, but like,
No,
like,
you don't, because it's not something I considered at all going into it, and this is the kind of shit I think about all the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, and the other thing is like, while we were there was the first time they had hit 70 degrees. And
like
apparently
ever,
no, just this year. Year.
Oh, okay.
And it was like raining and like pretty cold the whole time, and that's like their summer. And I was like, well, I'm never coming this far north again, because this is pointless. Like, this weather is not fucking. There was one day where it was like 65 degrees and someone said it's bikini weather. I'm like, I have been to Key West. This is not bikini weather. What the fuck? This is our like late fall. Like, Damn.
Well, it's kind of the same because like when we were where we were at, it was like 90s or whatever, and then coming back here, it was like 70. But it was kind of like a different heat.
Oh yeah.
To me.
So see,
like,
that's the thing too. Like okay. Anyone who has experienced time on the water and time inland knows that the especially if you're north. Now I'm not talking like Florida. I'm talking where seasons change a lot. Anyone's experienced time on water and inland in a place where seasons actually like go through the full cycle, you fucking know. Like in Michigan, around the Great Lakes, you fucking know that 50 degrees on the shore of Lake Michigan sure as fuck feels different than 50 degrees in Lansing.
Yeah.
It's because there's like this.
It's a lake effect.
It's that's what they call it or whatever. But what it actually is like this inherent. There's like an underlying. Like the air is cold, but the 50 degrees is warm. But here the air is warm, and so is the 50 degrees. You know what I mean? It's like this underlying inherent like current that's going on. There's something underneath the actual temperature. You feel it. You know it when you feel it.
Yeah.
So over there, I knew what the temperatures were going to be like going over there, but here we were only maybe 2 weeks off of 50 degrees, and here in Lansing, in the spring that's a warm 50 degrees. That's not like 50 degrees in the fall. It's a warmer because the inherent warmth is coming into the air as opposed to the inherent cold setting in for winter. So 50 degrees over there though feels surrounded by all that ocean. Is way colder. Feels way colder. And I'd have to look this up, but I wonder what elevation I was at. Because I feel like maybe I was at a higher elevation for some reason. Because it was like when the sun was out, it was like too hot for a hoodie. The black hoodie I was having on, and that's like a thin-ass hoodie. But when the sun went away, I needed more than that hoodie. So there was like a drastic difference between shade and direct sunlight, which makes me wonder if I was at a higher elevation. But yeah, so that was some crazy shit experiencing all that. But by far, let's see here. Oh, so two things.
Well,
one,
it says 154 feet. The elevation of Edinburgh.
Edinburgh?
Yeah, Edinburgh.
What's the elevation of Lansing, Michigan? That's 154, you said?
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's look it up for where our natural habitat is. This is interesting, actually. Let's see what we got going on over here. Got a little something in the bowl.
$860.
So we're way higher?
I think elevation range between 890 and 271 meters above sea level.
Oh, meters.
Yeah.
Is the other one meters?
833 feet to 805 above sea level along the Grand River. So elevation says 860 feet, but it says 262 meters.
Huh. So we are higher.
It's 154, yeah.
Maybe it really is just a different spot on the earth.
Elevation 154, 40.
That's weird.
I don't know.
I never would have guessed that. So I'm just full of shit about the whole elevation thing.
I mean, it's, it's a
I'm
solid,
an idiot.
good, consideration, I'm sure it has something to do with it, though.
Something, I don't know. I think it's just more the ocean air.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's something else that'll fuck you up. First of all, so not only are their old-ass hotels not really terribly updated, because the second hotel we stayed at in Inverness, we're on the second and third floor. Rooms didn't have AC, and it was boiling lava hot. Even though when we walked downstairs and made it to the lobby, it was like nice and cool and 60 degrees. 2 floors up, it's like 90 degrees in the room and we can't do anything about it.
Like,
what the fuck is this? So that was crazy. But they're the best in terms of all I can speak is from my experience. But in my experience, they're the best I can say is they're probably about maybe in terms of, now maybe they have some other updated hotels I didn't stay at or this or that. I'm not ruling any of this out. I'm saying they probably exist. But my experience and the things I saw, they're maybe 5-10 years behind North America. They still had payphones. They still using fax machines. And some that'll really fuck you up, dude. Say you're at the mall. We were in they had this kind of weird, crazy underground mall thing. And so we're walking around. You want to use the bathroom? Got to pay.
What?
Got to pay for public bathrooms. Costs money to take a. You would literally have to go through a turnstile, put coins in, and go through a turnstile to use the bathroom.
That's so weird.
I swear to God.
That's.
So they don't have ice, and you got to pay to piss.
Fuck that,
dude. It was a trip. I didn't use a single. I was on principle, I'm gonna hold it.
Wow. Yeah. No shit.
This is crazy to me. What are we doing?
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. You got to pay to use the public bathrooms over there.
That's
100%.
It's robbery. How much was it?
Just pence, a few pence, which is cents.
Couple.
But still, their money's worth more than ours. Oh yeah, and another weird. I tell you what, dude. We did a thing. They have a thing in Edinburgh called the City Hopper, which is basically that's the thing that takes you around. The tour guide talks about the city, but it's also how you get to certain tourist spots in the city. So we had a 2-day pass. That was our bus transit for the couple of days. So we heard multiple tour guides basically give the same kind of spiel. Between all of that and the one tour I did, I ended up doing it. I did it with my two sisters, and it was just, I was if you guys want to come, you can come with me, but I'm doing this no matter what, because it was the Edinburgh Vaults. And Edinburgh's the most haunted city in Scotland, and those vaults are where the hauntings go down. So, and it was featured on an episode of Ghost Adventures. I had to fucking go at least on a tour. And that was my favorite part of Edinburgh by far. That shit was fucking, to walk around under the streets of Edinburgh. And these 600-year-old vaults or whatever that fucking people used to use for all kinds of illicit activity. That was a real trip. I
bet. That sounds crazy.
That was dope.
Did you experience anything or probably not? Cause
how
were you in a group? Or
yeah, we were in a group, but it wasn't a terribly large group. But the vaults were smaller than I expected them to be, and so we weren't down there as long as I thought we would be. There was one room though that was weird. I got I felt like there might have been something in there. It was the only room I was in where I experienced it's the second I stepped into it, I was oh, it's about 5 degrees colder in here. Which doesn't make sense because there was no airflow at all. She started talking about the temperature difference and was there is no logical reason why the temperature should be different in here. And I started getting static electricity. My hair started standing up and I started feeling static electricity on my body.
What was it?
Edinburgh Vaults. Edinburgh Vaults. I went, shout out to the Meerkat, Mircat Tours. Meerkat Tours. That's who I went on a tour with. And my tour guide, son of a bitch, I forget her name, maybe Anne? Something like that. I could be wrong. She was fantastic. She really, dude, that's one thing I quickly learned about these tours is the tour guides are essentially putting on a podcast. Essentially that's what they're doing. And some of them are more theatrical than others, but essentially they're doing a podcast, in a lot of ways. And so I ended up really enjoying listening to the tour guides and stuff because when I started thinking about it like that, I was that's all this is. The tour guide was really theatrical. She wore a cape and everything. She even like I made eye contact with her, and she's like, "Come up here," and she like I was like a volunteer for one of the demonstrations of torture, and yeah, I got whipped and I got my tongue ripped out. It's pretty dope. I enjoyed it. And she was super cool and extremely knowledgeable, and it was a really great tour. That was, but every single tour guide, from her to all the people on the buses, every single one of them, all of them felt the need to mention this one thing. All of them. Like, they made goddamn sure every fucking tourist that came through this city knows this one thing. And this one thing is that before the city had a sewage system, everyone in the house used to shit and piss in buckets. And then at a certain time of night, you dump your shit piss buckets into the streets. And that certain time of night happened to be also the same time of night where a lot of people would be walking home drunk. So a lot of people would get covered in shit and piss bucket. Like, they made damn sure everyone knew that. Like, it was crazy. Like, they made so many shit bucket jokes. I was like, why is every tour guide bringing this up? Like, it was hilarious. But so, yeah, I felt the need to mention it here, like, because they all made goddamn sure I remembered.
Well, you did.
Yes, so. I did. They all had their shit buckets.
What was this used for? I'm looking at some of the pictures of
the
it.
vaults?
Stuff. Like, yeah.
I forget why they were originally constructed. But they ended up being literally used for, illegal bars, prostitution, gambling. Lots of people got killed. And what's even crazy is at one point they were, it was like a crime part of the city. So they were, blocked off. They were cemented off. They were walled off. Like, cement was used and bricks were used to block off all entrances to these vaults. And in the 80s, I believe, sometime, there was a shop owner who was doing something in his basement and went through a wall and discovered these vaults. And that's when they were opened back up for the first time. So, yeah, fucking insane. Look up the Edinburgh Vaults. I believe it was season 1, episode 7 of Ghost Adventures, if you're a fan. They have some really good shots of it in that episode.
Some of the pic, like
that. I saw that.
Thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I saw that. That's where a lot people slept in those.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
That's small as shit.
Mm. Oh yeah, dude. This whole country is made for people like quite a few inches smaller than us.
Yeah.
Like, I had to duck pretty much everywhere I went. One of the cool places we went to in Edinburgh was a castle that, not castle like you traditionally think, but it's the permanent address of the Queen of England whenever she comes to Scotland. And I don't know if they use the areas that we walked through as their areas when they're there.
No.
But the bedroom didn't even have a queen-size bed. It's the Queen's residence. Bedroom doesn't even have a queen-size bed. Everything was made for very small people. The staircases, everything was made for small people. But, so yeah, the vaults, though, that was cool. One weird thing is every time you went to a castle or something like that, they wouldn't let you film anything. So I could only film the outsides of them. But like the guide, they did have some pretty cool like tours where they literally gave you a fucking, it's in a case where you can't fuck around with it, but an iPod with headphones, and it walks you around and does the tour. Those were dope.
That's cool.
So we went to the Queen Elizabeth's residence in Edinburgh. That was sick. The sickest though for me was the vaults. That was unbelievable in Edinburgh. And then we got on a fucking train up to Inverness, 3.5-hour train ride. Garbage train. I did not enjoy that. I just drank a lot and listened to podcasts on that train ride. And then we got to Inverness, and it's a much smaller city. It's definitely still a city, but it's much more quaint. And it was nice. It was very pretty. Not quite as cool in terms of architecture and just like crazy as fucking Edinburgh, but still nice, you know what I mean? Just really clean. Everything was clean there. Very clean cities. But not a lot of homeless at all. either. Inverness was cool, but the thing about it is we didn't spend that much time there. That's when we went to that really good restaurant. Because we get there after a 3.5 hour train ride, so we just kind of chill in the hotel, and then because we have to wake up at 6 a.m. the next day to make an 8 a.m. bus. Aaron, this was a 12-hour bus tour.
Wow.
We were on this bitch. we had a lot of stops, it'd stop off and stuff, but it was a 12-hour bus tour. And
tour of what? Like, what was the?
We went north of Inverness to a place called the Isle of Skye. And I'll give it this. If Peter Jackson hadn't picked New Zealand for Lord of the Rings, Isle of Skye should have been Middle Earth. Like, that's what it looked like. Was that's fucking cool. Middle Earth. Yeah. Like, that's the scenery. Like, it was insane. I was just... Our tour guide was really amazing on that too, because she told us a lot of like the folklore of the area and stuff like that. A lot of witches and giants and stuff like that. So driving around in a place that looks like that, you go like, I can see why people looked at this and made legends like these. Like, it makes sense in a place that looks like this.
I'm sure it's like inspirational.
Yeah.
Or just not like influential, I guess.
Yeah. Like it is. Now, I wasn't exactly being as awestruck as I should have been, because by that time it had been many, many, many days of only 2-3 hours a night of sleep, very limited food, and
just get a certain way.
Waking up at 6 a.m. So I think that night I only got like an hour of sleep. And I was not very happy to be on that bus for the first part of the day. I was grouchy. I feel bad about that now, though, because once we got some lunch and stuff, I started to feel a lot better. And the tour ultimately ended at Loch Ness. And if I could describe to you the goosebumps I got when I saw that water, like, it took my breath away. It really did, because I never... Like, I remember being at the East Lansing Public Library when I was 8 years old, looking at the fucking, being bored and not giving a shit about any book in the building, except for this one tiny, I remember where it was, this one tiny little section of the library that had Bigfoot books, alien books, and Loch Ness Monster books. That was the only part of the library I cared about, and I checked all those books out over and over and over and over, and read them all over and over, and watched any show on TV I could about any kind of cryptid or mysterious animal. Like, when I was that little kid, I never thought I'd actually be at Loch Ness. Like,
that's cool.
Oh, man.
Like a full circle moment, kind of.
It really was. It really was. To see Urquhart Castle, and now... it also was like kind of like going there. I knew, like, I've known for you, like, it's years old now, the news that came out that the most famous Loch Ness picture is a fake. That's years old, but I remembered in some of those books a lot of other pictures that I was like, that's it, you know what I mean, that one's real, you know what I mean. But I went to the Loch Ness like museum, and they debunked every single picture that I ever saw and thought was real. So
disillusioning.
Oh yeah, like, but I mean, what? In fairness, though, all the museum really did was lay out every single major scientific expedition that's ever been done, from the beginning to the end, of trying to find this thing. And there have been, like, there was some incredible footage of, like, the loch is 20 miles long, and it had some incredible footage of boats, a bunch of white boats, all lined up, sweeping using radar the entire thing all the way down. You know what I mean? Like, they've done it all.
No.
And that was in like the 90s, I think. So it was really cool to see all the work that they actually have done. And some of the boats that were used were actually in the museum and stuff. Sadly, I couldn't film any of it, but I think there actually is a picture of me in front of one of the boats I think my dad or sister got. Yeah, like, it was a little disillusioning for sure, but it was also like, it's also doesn't matter because for all the 8-year-old kids that were in the library looking at those books, it's still a place of wonder. And that's what's important. Yeah.
Well, it's kind of cool that like they took the time to really like dissect everything and like bring light to all the the pictures and stuff and kind of like prove that like like this is what happened and stuff, and like they actually looked into it instead of just like going along with what was happening and stuff.
Absolutely. Now the conspiracy side of me goes, yeah, but who made that museum?
Yeah.
What are they trying to hide? There could be a motherfucker that lives along this lake right now that feeds Nessie every goddamn day. Nobody knows. Like, what are they trying? Who's behind this? You know what I mean? That's the conspiracy part. But at that same time, it's also the longing for the mystery and the wonder. I don't want it to be proven fake or real yet. I want the mystery.
Yeah.
I do want Bigfoot to be proven real, but time will tell. But yeah,
that's cool though.
That was far and away. That was what made me get on the fucking airplane. Like, that was knowing that I was gonna end up at Loch Ness. I was like, I cannot pass that opportunity up. Like, that is a dream of mine from a child. Like, that's up there with Vakken. You know what I mean? Like, that was a big one. So. Yeah, that Loch Ness and the vaults were by far the two coolest fucking things two things I enjoyed the most, for sure. Seeing those were very impressive, very incredible. Goosebumps, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
That's pretty much all the shit I wrote down to remember. Yeah, that's coming home.
Kind of more the same, sounds like.
It was almost an even bigger nightmare. Like, the flight out of Edinburgh was on time, smooth and perfect, and we went on coming home. We ended up in the Logan International Airport in Boston. That place was not nice. Like, it was pretty gross. Like, there was like vomit in a sink in the men's bathroom. I was like, are we serious right now? And that flight ended up getting delayed for like 8 hours, and then they put us on a fucking propeller plane.
Yo.
Oh, Aaron.
That's sketchy.
Aaron. Oh my God. Like, I was not ready for that. And it was another freezing cold. They didn't give you any blankets, and it was fucking uncomfortable as shit. So, yeah, that delay that pissed me off like no other, because our flight was supposed to leave at 4:30. Like, psych, 11:30. But it also made it so it was impossible to have jet lag, because I just stayed up through it. And we did record that podcast, so it was kind of cool. But yeah, that's all I can think of at the moment. Download Fest was happening real close to me, and I should have gone, but I didn't.
Yeah, I remember you saying that and be like, maybe you should just like
fucking poster for it, dude. And I was like, are you kidding me?
Slip away for a bit. And
I'll be right back. No, I won't.
Nope.
You'll never see me again. Oh, that would have been insane. I saw a lot of fucking footage from it though on Randy's Randy Bai's Instagram and Amanda Mar's Instagram and everybody else's. So that was cool. But yeah, it's about all I can think of at the moment. Now, so why did you guys go down to Georgia? Devin went down to Georgia.
So it was, my brother's been going to school at Life University there for a long time.
What is Life University?
So I think it's, from my understanding of it, it's like a medical school kind of, because he was going to school for being like chiropractor.
Sounds like the Life Foundation, which is the foundation that created Venom.
Maybe.
Spider-Man.
Maybe. I don't know. I didn't really get quite that impression of it. But, yeah.
They're not dealing with alien symbiotes there?
I mean, maybe. I don't know. there was enough people there, enough different like things. You know, we figured like
maybe
one of them was a cover up. Maybe I don't know.
It could be. You never know.
No, but it was. I mean, it was a cool. You know, it was a cool experience because like he'd been going to school for this for a long time, and it's to the point where like he was kind of showing us when we were down there, like where the whole, because he's planning on opening up like a practice down there.
Oh shit!
Which is awesome.
Fuck yeah!
And it's like 20 minutes from where they live at, because they just like within, I mean, pretty much by the time we were like planning on going down there and stuff, and like it was like a month before they were trying to sell their house because they lived in Georgia for a little while. And then decided to move to South Carolina, which is where, you know, because I think they were just trying to like move away from all that stuff because it's a pretty crazy state, like crazy like city and stuff like that.
Georgia is my least favorite state to drive through.
Yeah, I understand why now.
Yeah, dude, it is a fucking demon.
Yeah,
it is a fucking demon.
Like I thought like driving through Detroit rush hour was bad. But this is
ain't
like
dick.
Yeah.
That's leisure.
Yeah. Because we went to the graduation and stuff because it was we left on Thursday, I think, and then split the trip up in a couple of different days because I think it took us 2 days to get there, and then because the first night we stayed in Knoxville, which is Tennessee, and I was kind of excited about that because
cool city.
Yeah. I didn't really get to see a whole ton of it, but I made it a point to get a Jack and Coke in.
Let me.
Yeah, in Tennessee because I was
you could taste my lizard.
Yeah. That was good. I didn't expect that.
I got you.
So I did that, and then on the way there, when I figured out that we were, Jesus, man.
Oh, rest in peace. Rest in peace, Lemmy. You are a god.
Because I was kind of looking up like what was in. Oh shit! Might have to edit this out.
Was in Knoxville?
Yeah.
I think Jack White actually has a place down there, and I think the fucking Pickers have a store down there.
Yeah.
The American Pickers, which was also on TV in Scotland.
So I was looking that up, and I saw that Whitechapel is from Knoxville.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
I kind of knew that already, so like I was pretty much like, I don't know, playing them pretty much like all the way through down there and stuff.
Black Bear?
Yeah. And I think like,
or no, The Valley. That's what I meant.
Yeah. That was actually the album that kind of started everything. Because I don't know, just like driving through all the mountains and stuff and kind of seeing everything, and like I feel like I may have driven past the part that like inspired that cover in a sense.
Really?
I mean, maybe not. I don't know. It's just there's a lot of like giant like, you know.
I mean, still, like,
Yeah.
I get it. Like you see at least something that looks like what probably inspired that cover.
I mean, even in like the CD outlay and stuff, there's a bunch of like different like pictures of you know, like the mountains and stuff like that. So, sorry, that really like caught me off guard. Not only because it was a good impression, but I just wasn't expecting that.
Oh, I miss Lemmy so much.
Oh shit! But anyway,
you know, it was Vinnie Paul's 1 year.
Yep, I think today.
Yeah, it was like today or yesterday. I think today. Rest in peace.
Yep,
Vinnie Paul.
So that was cool. I mean, it was a long drive down there. It was I think like 5 hours there, and then maybe like 4.5 the next day.
Yeah. Tennessee's about 6. Yeah.
Yeah. So we got there and stuff and hung out, and then like the traffic and stuff through there, because we went to a fucking, like, I don't know, there was like a afterward, like, you know, kind of like dinner or whatever that was going on, and So we stayed there, and that was in Georgia, and the place was crazy.
Were you near Atlanta?
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
my God. Okay, see, the last time I've been down there was when we were going to Key West. And when we drove through, when I was literally the one driving when we were all through Georgia and the first chunk into Florida. By the time we hit Atlanta, it was like 4 a.m. And so I didn't really experience that crazy traffic, but I was literally the only car on the fucking road. And I looked around and I realized I'm in 5 empty lanes.
Dude.
5 lanes. 5 whole fucking lanes. There's no road in Michigan that has 5 lanes.
Yeah.
Absolutely none.
That was the other thing that
it was
threw me
giant.
off. Yeah.
Giant.
Did you see like all the they had like a bunch of crazy like overpasses and like bridges and stuff? Maybe.
Yeah. Look, well, we were on this freeway that literally like we went on it, and the entire time I could see downtown Atlanta out of my left window, out of the driver window, and we were just going around it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we actually, because when we were leaving, that was all happening and stuff. I think that was like 5 or 6. So not only was it like rush hour, but like it was the 4 of us from,
Michigan.
small town Michigan trying to like get through this crazy like 5-lane traffic going up this weird like overpass kind of. And like there was a couple. It was kind of cool looking, but at the same, because we don't have like traffic and shit like that here.
No,
it's a whole different game down there.
Yeah.
So we actually we had to stop. I think about maybe 45 minutes out once we finally got through it all, because it was like, man, we just gotta
to catch a breath,
chill for a minute. Yeah. But I don't know, they're pretty used to it as far as, because they were kind of saying the same thing, because it was my brother and his wife and my sister-in-law, I guess, kind of moved down there to Georgia and then to, South Carolina and stuff. So they were used to it, but they were kind of saying the same thing. When we first moved down here, we were like, what are we doing? This is insane kind of stuff. And it's the kind of thing where you'd almost have to, if you're leaving somewhere and it takes you a half hour to get there, you may as well plan on leaving an hour ahead, because you're going to get stuck in traffic for that long.
Yeah.
And to kind of figure that out and stuff is, I don't know, it seems like you're spending a whole ton of time in traffic just sitting there. I feel like that would, as awesome as it was down there, kind of seeing everything, I feel like that would mess with me for the first little while.
And fucking California is even worse.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, it's so congested and everything.
LA traffic is insane. It's the worst in the country.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's so okay. So that's so you go down to Georgia. He must have been going to school on the border.
Yeah.
Real close. So you just cross in between Georgia and South Carolina seamlessly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Even the whole university and stuff was really cool. As far as just how it was all laid out and stuff, and it's just that crazy looking architecture and stuff. Kind of there was a bunch of different statues and things.
Oh hell yeah.
It was really high end, high class kind of.
Okay.
As it should be for that kind of. That kind of schooling and stuff. You figure,
Yeah.
It has Marietta, which is where the school was
Marietta,
at.
Georgia?
Yeah.
I think I've heard of that.
Which is looks like it's a couple miles, I don't know what you'd say, because it's right there.
And where's the border?
That's kind of the layout, because we stayed in Knoxville the night before. So it's,
Oh, okay. Okay,
yeah.
I see what's going on there. Yeah. Yeah, that's close.
So, yeah. And then, because, and, honestly, I was just happy to just be somewhere else for a little while because
Get out of Michigan.
it had been a long time since I'd actually like left for any extended period of time, and especially for something like that. And so it was kind of the same mindset that you were having. You know, it was just kind of like there wasn't ever a point where I was like frustrated or like you know, like nervous about anything. I was just kind of like going with it all and stuff. And it kind of seemed like, I mean, you know, there were points where, you know, like, you know, you don't really get a lot of sleep and stuff like the night before and everything, or like during, you know, like you stay somewhere and, you know, maybe like the, you know, amenities or whatever, like the beds aren't really super great or whatever. You just kind of like can't sleep and stuff like that. Or you're stuck with 3 people that snore constantly.
Some lumberjacks having log sawing competitions.
Yeah. Thankfully that was only the last night. I think the last night we were out, I got like 3 hours maybe.
Yeah.
So that was rough. But I mean, at least, you know, we stopped periodically and everything. So it was just, I mean, I don't know, it was just kind of cool to like be somewhere else and just kind of see all this different, you know, stuff. And it made me want to, like, I don't know, I wasn't really ready to come back. It was kind of one of those trips, like.
Yeah, I will say that, like, I literally started to feel like comfortable there like the last day we were there.
That was, yeah, exactly.
Like, ultimately I don't feel like I was there long enough to even close to like acclimate to anything.
Yeah, because we stayed, we got a hotel that we stayed at for a couple nights. It was pretty nice too. It was like 4-star or whatever. It was pretty new. They had like a nice little like open area outside and stuff. And
yeah, the last like the hotel airports we stayed at were actually really nice.
Yeah. And I ended up staying at their place for a night, which is cool. It's just kind of, you know, because we just like hung out because it'd been, I think since I don't even remember the last time I saw it because, like, I don't know, it's kind of you know, because of the whole like schooling thing, it's become kind of like less and less. I've actually been able to like see them and stuff, and so it was cool to just kind of hang out and like, you know, play video games or whatever, and just kind of chill and just have that whole thing going on. And then the day after that, we kind of went around and just like hung out and stuff, and you know, kind of saw. We went to the I don't know if you heard of like this Top Golf.
Oh yeah, there's one of those in Auburn Hills.
Yeah. It's kind of cool. It's a little different. I'm terrible at it. Just because I'm bad at golf. I've never been good at it.
Yeah.
But it's okay.
Yeah. to not be good at golf.
Yeah. Majority of people aren't. And
every time I think about golf, I just think of the line from Happy Gilmore where he's like, if I saw myself in those clothes, I'd have to kick my own ass.
Yeah. I mean, it was cool because like we were on the 3rd floor of it and stuff, and it was like this big, you know, and
you got like your own little suite.
Yeah.
Kinda, yeah. My bosses went to it and told me about it, the one in Ann Arbor. And it's another cool part about it is because it's all like climate controlled, it's year round.
Yeah.
So like here in Michigan, you can even go in the winter and stuff. For people that like golf, I think it's dope.
Yeah.
You know, I do think it is here in Michigan though. It's like the next time we go to Detroit, you'll see it. Like it's literally right off you can see it from the freeway, and it's just a big weird looking thing off the freeway.
Yeah, it's hard to miss.
Weird to look at, but besides that, I mean, like I get it. You know, it's definitely a cool thing to have for a place like Michigan because in the winter there's no other options for people that actually enjoy that golf. So
see, I don't know if this one was all year round because there was it was just like a netted. Was it?
So was the one here.
Same?
Yep.
Maybe
the actual course is just netted, but I think it's all like heated too. So it doesn't really like there's no like snow on it and it like yeah. I don't know how they kind of pull that off. But yeah, it's just it looks like a gigantic batting cage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much. So yeah, that was cool to just kind of see. And like think about it, I mean, you were kind of talking about like just how people are where you were at and stuff. Like I mean, I don't know. I've always heard of like that Southern hospitality or whatever, but like that's a real thing.
Oh yeah. It is. Yeah, I know.
It was kind of refreshing in a way.
It's crazy.
How
nice they are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go on.
And even, I mean, like it was also weird because it was the first time that like I'd ever left anywhere and felt like a real like tourist. Because whenever like I mean you hear about people with like Midwest accents and stuff,
Yeah.
but like it was real. Like
oh, dude,
I had a couple people like, oh, where are you from or whatever. Like you don't really seem like you're from here or whatever. And
oh, dude, the first time I'd never heard the term Michigan accent. No one has ever said that to me until I can't remember why we were down there, but it was like we were like in Tennessee or Kentucky, and we were at like a fucking Waffle House or something. And the fucking waitress was like, "Oh, you got a thick Michigan accent."
Yeah.
I was like, "What? What do I have?"
Thing?
That's it's thick. Like what?
Yeah.
I didn't know. Yeah, I didn't even want to talk in Scotland. I was afraid to like talk. I didn't want people to like just be able to make some kind of a judgment about me based on my accent. You know what I mean?
It is weird.
I preferred them to make the judgment on the T-shirt.
Yeah. That's true. Because that was, I mean, I think like the first time it happened, we went to I don't remember what it was called or whatever. We went to some like restaurant or whatever because we kind of stopped off because we went driving for a couple hours. And like the first time like we walked in and stuff, and like you could tell like even I don't know, it was weird. Like you could even tell like walking in that like it's like they knew like there was something like we were like maybe it was like how like I don't know
how you carried yourself.
Yeah.
Something like
I don't know maybe like.
Oh, I know what you mean. Yeah, they know.
It was such a weird because like I don't know I'd heard about that whole like vibe and stuff and like people saying that, but it never really occurred to me until like we were actually in it. I was like, oh yeah, I guess this is a little different.
Yeah,
you know?
It's a different, little bit of a different world down there. It's kind of crazy.
Well, yeah, I mean, I kind of went through, you know, because I mean, I made a giant playlist of all this stuff and like different music and stuff and trying to like, you know, figure out like what was kind of in that area and stuff. And there's a couple of like key bands and stuff, but that was kind of, you know, something that I discovered I like doing, like that's figuring
awesome.
out like what's, you know, because I mean Michigan there's tons of different
we're lucky
bands and like, you know, famous stuff from here and like iconic people and stuff,
especially music.
Yeah. So like, you know, driving through different like,
I mean, honestly, the only one that probably competes with us is a place like Nashville.
Yeah.
And that's different kind of music.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even like just I don't know, like I feel like as much of a headache as the traffic and, you know, stuff and all like the people were, you know, just everywhere really. Like I feel like I didn't really get a chance to like spend that much time in like the actual like center of Atlanta.
Exploring.
Yeah. And that's kind of one of the things that made me like want to go back. I guess.
Yeah, I definitely understand what the bands mean now when they're like, yeah, we play shows at these places, but we don't get to do anything. Like, we see the venue. That's it.
Yeah.
You know, and there's like, and I also don't like. I understand the logic behind it, obviously, but it drives me crazy that airports are always on the outskirts. Because like for those giant delays that we had, I could have walked around New York City for a couple hours. I could have actually been to downtown Boston for the first time. I've never been to Boston.
No.
But instead, we just had to sit in the fucking airport because it's like on the outskirt of the city, and it's too you know, it'd be too much of a hassle, and you wouldn't really get much time. Like.
Well, that was I guess the one of the cool things that we had, because I mean the day that we went to the Topgolf stuff, we kind of just ended up because there was like a couple hour, you know, wait and stuff because it was pretty busy because I guess it had opened like a couple months prior, so we just had time because like it was kind of cool because like you could request like a spot in line, I guess, and if it was like a couple hours, then you could just kind of like leave and come back. So what we ended up doing is going like, I don't know if it was like directly downtown, like South Carolina, but it was like kind of just a bigger part of it, I guess. Like I don't know. I'm pretty terrible about figuring out like where I was at and stuff, but it was, I don't know, it was just like with a bunch of like shops and everything and just cool looking, you know.
Fucking, I bet you were somewhere. I mean, you might have even been where there was one day on the Slayer tour where Slayer went to some city in South Carolina and Randy Bly went with him and took a bunch of pictures on Instagram and stuff and even talked about it on the Josta podcast. I wonder if that was the same spot. said it was really nice.
Yeah.
It's like pretty.
Yeah, well, that was the thing. It's just like much like bigger buildings and stuff, and like there was I got a couple pictures of it. There's like that was just random bridge, like
yeah, that's cool.
Center part of the city where people were at and stuff. Yeah, like that was like a suspension bridge, sort of.
Scary.
Yeah, a little bit. Like even, dude, it was weird because like when we were standing on it and stuff, like you could kind of feel like the like the movement and stuff. God. Yeah, it was weird. And then like once you like walked off it, you still kind of felt like you were on it for a little bit because it was kind of that weird, like, I don't know what the term is for it, but like not vertigo, but
no,
like
kind of.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I know what you're saying. Like
yeah.
You kind of feel like, yeah, I get it. Yeah.
So that was kind of crazy.
That's cool though.
So yeah, and then I stayed down there, and then so it was like Thursday to and then Monday afternoon we came back. So Sunday night, drove through the mountains.
The Smokies.
Yeah, and because we did the night like I said, like driving down there, it was cool, but I feel like obviously we were in a different part of it and stuff, and it seemed like there was a lot more like bigger like valleys, I guess.
Yeah.
Like different like drops and stuff. Like it's weird.
Yeah.
That was kind of crazy. Like feeling like you were like
there are legit drops.
Yeah, like you were up here, but everything else was like it was a straight like drop underneath you and stuff, and it was just kind of cool looking up at everything and seeing like even like the layers of everything, like how it was all kind of like growing on top of each other and stuff.
Did your ears pop?
Yeah. That was kind of a bitch, honestly.
Yep, I hate that. Drives me crazy.
I mean, I kind of figured it would, because like I was even saying when we were driving down there, like we must be like either like coming up or going down because I could feel the difference.
Difference in elevation. Yeah. Yeah, good time. Woo! Here come the men in black. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, with that, I mean, like you said, coming back, I mean, it was, it was like mid-afternoon, I'd say. Well, maybe like later on in the evening, maybe it was like 4 or 5, I'd say.
Yeah.
We got to like the center of it, and yeah, I took a ton of pictures and stuff. It was cool.
It's awesome.
So I have to kind of look at those and kind of figure out like which ones are, because I like to, and I was kind of thinking, it was like the night before, and I mean, I don't know, I was kind of, it wasn't until we got there, like, and it was, I wish that I would have kind of taken the chance to, like when we were driving down there, because there was some stuff that like we didn't pass over again, but I was just kind of like, I don't know, just looking around at everything and just kind of like, figuring out, because I didn't really expect to go through all that, and it was all like, because we had everything kind of, like stuffed away in the back and stuff, and it was kind of hard to get to. So like, I don't know, I think it was like the second night that we were there, I took a bunch of like different ones of like, I don't know, because it was kind of hard, because there wasn't like a whole lot of sunlight or whatever.
Yeah.
So I just kind of got creative with a couple of things and like took, I mean, I don't know, I guess I could have done it anywhere, but it was, I don't know, different like headlights and stuff, and I was like messing around with like moving it slightly and then getting like the streaks of it and stuff. It's kind of different.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, hopefully I'll have, I mean, I want to try to get those up, but I was also thinking like, I don't know, I kind of wanted to start like a page for all that kind of stuff, like an Instagram for like separate stuff like that, because I feel like, I don't know, like it would make sense as far as like the personal page and everything.
Yeah, I was gonna say just use yours.
Yeah, but I also kind of feel like maybe like starting it, because I always feel like I take like specific kinds of like pictures and stuff, and kind of I feel like if I had one central place to put it, and like it would just kind of make a little more sense, I guess.
So use yours though. Why not yours?
Yeah.
I mean, you don't really post much to it anyway.
Yeah.
So, and you already have it somewhat established.
Yeah.
As opposed to starting from scratch.
Yeah.
And the more you post, the more everything you've already posted just gets pushed down and down and down.
Yeah.
And feel free, anything you want to post to the Lost in the Dark page too. You could, I think on Instagram you can actually share to both at the same time if you want.
Yeah.
Sometimes if you want, feel free. Cause anything, especially pictures of your trip and stuff. Cause I posted pictures of mine, so go for it.
That was one of the things. Like I really, one of these times I will. As far as like where I, like when I go to places and stuff, but I always really enjoy like watching like vlogs and stuff. I know it's kind of like like nerdy or whatever.
Instagram stories.
Well, like yeah,
which is basically a vlog. Yeah,
kind of stuff like that. Like I've always wanted to do something like that, but I just never really knew how to like go about it.
Dude.
And like talking to a camera and like in like different places, like being like outside and stuff, trying to like get past that little.
That's the only thing that I have a really hard time doing it in public.
Yeah.
But no, dude, I just like I didn't really know like what to do with it either, but I just get like pretty much all of my inspiration from Bert Kreischer's Instagram. Like he does it like every day, everywhere he goes, on tour, in a plane, everything. And with his family just chilling at home, whatever. Like now I don't do as much, I'm not that crazy about it or anything. Especially like usually when I'm sitting at home, I don't really do anything. Actually, we should right now, actually. But fucking like if I'm going somewhere, you know what I mean? It's just, it's just giving updates or whatever. Just like having it in a sense, it's also documenting for myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like ultimately I'm just talking to myself, and if anybody else hears it, cool.
Yeah. Well, I started, and I never actually like made a point to post any of it. I just kind of wanted to see if I could do it. But there was a point in time where I started.
What?
I started kind of like doing it like back and forth to work and stuff, and just kind of like seeing like what it was like and like what I could make out of it and stuff. And some of it was kind of dumb, but others were like kind of like, it's interesting to kind of go back and see like where my head was at the time.
Yeah.
And like,
the reality is most of them are probably going to be dumb.
Yeah.
But if
most of them are,
like if even one person can watch it and like give half a smile, then maybe I turn someone's day up just a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's all. Here, we'll do it right now. Oh shit! We are recording right now.
Shit.
Episode 74. We're on Instagram.
Yeah.
Taking the video in the crypt. We're back in the crypt for the first time in weeks. Ho 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 ho! Shit! Oh shit! Iron Maiden. Oh, what do we got over here? What do we got? Oh! A little bog wraith. Oh man, here we go. From the Crypt Live, episode 74 coming soon. Good night. There we go. We just did one. Boom shakalaka.
So I guess to wrap up, like I don't know, cause like for a while, I guess. I mean, I've said it before on here and stuff about all the all the little like mental things that I kind of go through and stuff, and just I don't know, I've made it kind of like obvious and stuff. I mean, going to all that, and like seeing everything, and like seeing that there is actually like more out there than just what I'm used to and stuff, and this little like bubble,
little Lansing bubble.
Yeah. Like it's hard to kind of like break out of sometimes, but
really, it's you and I have a bigger bubble than most people we know, because you and I frequent places an hour plus away on an extraordinarily regular basis.
Yeah.
Like our bubble is from Detroit to Grand Rapids to Flint. That's a pretty big bubble. You know what I mean? We're lucky in that sense, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I guess.
But I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Because in reality, all those places are very similar.
I mean, and even so, it's kind of like a day-to-day thing. Like, even when I was like working and stuff, I always felt like I was going, and it became pretty real, at the last job that I had, because it was like, I don't know, like 5 minutes away from where I was at the time, and like I always kind of felt like I was either 15 minutes away from something else, but I was always like in this like familiar like box kinda.
Right.
And so like it just kind of like, I don't know, seeing all that stuff, and even if it was only just for a little bit, I guess it kind of made me, realize that, for one, if I really wanted to, like, I mean, I don't know, it
ain't hard to get to.
Yeah. And that was kind of what tripped me up, because like, even, I don't know, like, 'cause I think everybody else, minus like, I don't know, like I feel like for the time that we were there and for what we were there for, none of us really wanted to like dip out too.
Right.
Like, I mean, it's nice to kind of like come back to everything, but for me it was kind of like, I've been kind of in like a weird spot for a while as far as like figuring out like what to do and everything. And
Yep.
like, and,
Me too.
Yeah. And it was just kind of one of those things where it was like, man, like, what if I could like stay here and like figure something out, or like, what if I could like, I don't know, just like, I don't know, it's hard to not have those thoughts about things and stuff.
Yeah. No, it's my grandma. When Grandpa was alive, my grandma and Grandpa traveled the greater majority of the lower 48 states. There's like a small, like the northwestern corner of the United States are the only places Grandma hasn't been. So like Washington, Oregon, stuff like that.
Yeah.
The only places she hasn't been. She's been to literally every single other state with Grandpa in their life. And talk between how clearly not convenient flying is, and hearing her tell me stories about that kind of stuff throughout my whole life. And then even when we were over in Scotland, her saying, you would be really surprised at how big North America is once you actually get out there in the car.
That's
like, it is so big, and there is so much to see, and there's so much to see that I haven't seen. Like I have not been to very many states, like, at all. Like maybe 10-ish.
It's more than I've been to.
Well, I'm in a lot of the ones that I'm counting there are just the ones I drove through. So
there's a difference.
There's you drive through it for 2 hours versus staying there. Yeah. Like that, you're just on the freeway. Like that's nothing. So that's what I'm counting. The only ones that I probably only actually spent the night in 5, 6, maybe. I don't know. So yeah, there's just a lot right here that I can drive to that I have yet to see, and that's what I want. At the moment, that's what I want to do. You know what I mean? I don't have that, that itch. I don't have that thing in me where people go, if you have a chance to travel, do it every time before you die. It's so important. Having traveled now overseas, it's like I understand that mentality. I get it. I get why people say that. But I just don't have that either, especially when it comes to like flying overseas and stuff. It just... And that's just all me. That's just all my own stupid perspective, because it's just I haven't traveled much even in my own country. So I just need to maybe once I make it through this country, I'll have that itch to want to go to more, Yeah. But yeah, like that's something. That's something like I think it would be cool. I think we should fucking. Maybe you and me and Preston should fucking try to catch an out-of-state concert next summer or something like that.
Yeah.
To like,
well, I mean,
something a little far away, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Well, because I mean, even before that, it's kind of weird, because I was in this kind of like mindset where I was trying to figure out like, what do I really want to do as far as like what do I want to see and stuff. And like, I wrote down a bunch of stuff, and I think one of the things, because like I've always, I mean, even when I was in like high school, it was like California was always the place. Like, I mean, as it is with anybody that's in like, like the arts and the music and stuff. Yeah, So I've always heard so much about it and
that
stuff.
was me too. I mean, the cool thing about California is, I mean, there's if we're there on the right week, you know, we hit the Comedy Store a few nights and see legends.
Yeah.
One after another. If we're happen to be there on the right week where, because right now Fat Man Beyond records every night or every episode in the same bar in LA. Go catch an episode of that. You know what I mean? Like,
that's cool. Yeah.
Like there are things that we could actually see that are amazing that we look at. We could drive by. I mean, maybe I don't know if the address is public or not. I doubt it is, but we could drive within the same area that Joe Rogan records his podcast, or like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, fucking, you know, there's a lot out there in California that we could just see and be amazed. Like,
yeah,
that is a trip worth taking, and I'd love to get to California one day.
Yeah, I mean, even beyond that, you know, it was, you know, because I've always, I mean, I don't know, I've always watched the like the New Year's Eve stuff and like Times Square and everything.
Times
like,
Square, New York, yeah.
For some reason, like I've always wanted to just see that and just like walk through all that and stuff. And then I was thinking like, well, Mardi Gras would be cool because I've never been to, you know.
The number one city I want to see in this country that I haven't been to is New Orleans.
Yeah.
By far.
I've heard, yeah.
By far.
I've heard it's like music central.
Every single person I know that has been to New Orleans comes back and says it would be your favorite city in this country.
Yeah.
Like between the music and between all the haunted stuff.
Yeah.
Like everyone tells me I would. So maybe there's some music festival in New Orleans we go to next summer.
Yeah.
Like I'd love to go to New Orleans. The food, dude.
Yeah, man.
Oh, I want to eat that food.
I mean,
yeah, New Orleans is the biggest one on my list, probably. Honestly.
At the same time, like it's weird and it's kind of like because I was thinking about it as we were driving back into like as we crossed the between Ohio and Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of thinking like because this is like how I feel about it coming back, and I always kind of think of. I mean, it wasn't really like I said. It wasn't really until we drove through it and like coming back to it and everything. Like, how many people anywhere else that aren't from here like feel the way that I do about leaving, like where they're at to come to Michigan? Because there are a ton, there's like a lot of, there's a lot. I mean, it's
tourists that come here.
Yeah. And I always I don't know, it kind of like changed my perspective on it a little bit, if that makes sense.
I've had that thought before too. Yeah.
Like, would I be, because I mean, you kind of grow up in the same spots, you see the same kind of thing every day, but at the same time, like, what if you didn't? And like,
what if it was fresh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was I was weird because it was the first time I think ever that I'd had that thought, and I was like, like because there's a lot of stuff here.
Dude.
Like, there's between like Detroit being like, like all the like the music history and stuff, and and just having it be as far. I mean, it's pretty notorious for being like partly sketchy, kind of.
I mean, but like known for being a most dangerous city in the United States. But let me tell you something, downtown is beautiful right now.
Oh, dude, yeah. And like between that and like Grand Rapids and stuff, and I feel like I haven't spent near enough time in Grand Rapids as I'd like to.
And we have all these like wonderful coast towns like Grand Haven and Muskegon, I think, is out there.
The lakes and stuff are only like an hour away. Hour and a half at most. The
national forests, Mackinac, Traverse City. Like honestly, when I finally got home, okay, so it's probably been like 3 years now since I went down to Key West, and that was the last vacation I went on before Scotland.
It's 3 years, really?
I think.
Feels like it's been
shorter
than that.
3 or 4 years now, actually. Yeah.
Huh.
3 or 4, I can't remember, but 3 or 4 definitely.
Because I remember that.
Yeah.
That trip.
Yeah. Like we've known each other a minute, brother.
Yeah.
That was the last trip I went on, and how that trip started was us talking about taking a trip up north. And since then, I still haven't taken a trip up north. And every summer, that's all I want to do. But then someone goes, let's go to Key West, or someone goes, let's go to Tennessee, or someone goes, let's go to fucking Scotland. Like, I just want to go up north. Like, so no, actually, it's funny that you say that, because both I have plans with Preston to go up north, and Josh was he actually just worked up in the UP for 2 weeks, so he wants to take a little trip up back to the UP. Matt is talking to me about wanting to go up north a little bit, so maybe we should put something together, like, because there's just something about northern Michigan in the summertime I have not found anything like it anywhere else in the world, personally. Like, there's just the forests, the air, the way things feel and look, like, it just all has this specific thing to it, and it all just makes me feel so good. It's my favorite. It's my favorite.
I think maybe it was last year or the year before that. I think it was last summer. I went down to Grand Haven for the first time.
Grand Haven's great.
Yeah, and
very nice.
You know, I think we stopped sitting down at the like right next to where the bridge is at, because we went through Mackinac and everything.
Okay, yeah.
And I mean, I don't know. I'm pretty sure we've done it before, but like just being able to like go down and like sit right next to where all the bridge is at and stuff, like on the beaches.
Wait, like on the Mackinac Bridge?
Yeah.
Wait, Grand Haven. That's not Grand Haven.
Maybe.
Were you talking the UP side of the bridge?
Yeah.
That would be the first city. Once you cross the bridge, the first exit is St. Ignace. And you can, on that side and on the Mackinac side, you can literally go onto the beach and walk up and touch the fucking bridge.
Yeah.
You can literally do that.
Maybe that was where we were at.
That's I've done that many times. That's awesome. I love that.
And like, I don't know, it's weird, because like, even, I mean, I don't know, isn't there like a saying where like up north is like, it's like a different part of the world or something like that? I don't remember what the exact.
There is a saying.
I don't remember.
There is a saying, but I don't remember what it is either.
And it's true. Like, it's weird.
It's like
especially when you cross the bridge to get over to the actual island. Like, it's.
I mean, even in the Lower Peninsula, like for us in Lansing, about 45 minutes north of here is Mount Pleasant, and if you're driving up north in the summertime with the windows down, once you get past Mount Pleasant, that's when the air starts to smell different.
Yeah.
It's got that up north smell. There's a smell to it, dude.
Yeah.
There's a literal smell
that
happens, and it's just... I have goosebumps just thinking about it right now. Like, I need to get up there this summer so fucking bad, dude. I love it up there. When we used to have that cabin up there, that place was like, I remember in 7th grade, my fucking English teacher told us to write a paragraph about close your eyes and picture like a place that makes you feel like everything good, basically, and then write it down on a piece of paper. And I just wrote down my cabin. Like, it was fucking I love it up north. Yeah, we definitely got to go up there, do some podcasts, look for Dogman. done and done. That'd be a fantastic trip.
Trying to remember where it was that. I don't remember. It was next to. I wanted to. No, it wasn't Grand Haven. It was somewhere else. Let's see if I can. I don't know, but yeah, like, it was just, I don't know, to like, I guess to like wrap it up as far as like, you know, kind of like what we were talking about like trips and stuff. Like, it was, you know, sometimes you gotta like, it's nice to have that perspective, especially when like, you know, you're in kind of a weird place and you're not really like sure what to, you know, what all is going on and stuff, as far as like, you know, like everything else really. Like, sometimes it's cool to just kind of get away and just see something different, so it kind of like opens your mind a little bit to
it's like a refresh.
Yeah because ever since then, like, you know, I haven't felt like, you know, like stuck, I guess.
Right.
It's like, I don't know.
I know what you're saying, actually. Ever since I've been back, I haven't felt like the the dragging.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's just like.
But it's also.
Yeah, there's like some negativity just got taken away somewhere.
Yeah. But it's also like, I think the secret is, and maybe it's, and I think I don't know who I was talking to. Maybe it was you that said this a while back. But like, just finding stuff to like keep yourself busy and everything. And I think maybe that's part of it, because ever since I've been back, like it's just kind of been like, just go and just do something and just have something lined up so that you're not thinking about everything else that's happening. It's just kind of like
that. I remember saying that that's real. Like not keep yourself busy as much as just have things to look forward to.
That was it. Yeah.
Like I like movies even and concerts and stuff like that. But what really, because there was a point in time, and this was long before we met, where I hated this place so much. And everything I wanted to do was get to California. That was a big reality for me at one point in time.
Yeah.
But then it was like it was real quick. It was like a snap. It was like something someone said to me or something where I just started realizing where I was and like taking in the reality of the history and what the city of Detroit and Flint mean and where we're from and what it all actually is. And I started to be able to actually appreciate it. Like that is the first time I went out and bought a Detroit hat. You know what I mean? Like it was when I started to like realize it all. And then have hometown pride in a sense for the first time in my life. Like it came on late.
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, I started thinking like, I don't need another place. I just need to build what I want here. Like I can do that.
Yeah.
And literally this was years and years and years ago, and I never knew what I wanted to build or anything. It was just, that was always in the back of my mind. And then whenever this podcast started is when I started to it started to click, and I started to realize, like really be able to focus in on like what we could actually do. You know what I mean? Like this podcast could just be the beginning. And we've talked about it before, of things as far as like, sponsoring concerts and fucking opening venues even, and then like crazy shit like that. Like these are all things that are still within the realm of possibility. So it's all, building something right here where we can have like a base, you know what I mean? Like there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
And frankly, it's cheaper than California. So
well, that's a big reason why it hasn't happened yet, is because you think like, oh, it's easy to get there, but establishing and like falling into that as far as like standing out and everything is a whole other ball game. Except for like, it is here too, but like it's more, there's so many like bands and like, people that have made it out of there and stuff, like, and that's something I kind of come back to every so often, as far as like, it would be cool to go down there and have like a, success story or whatever, but at the same time, like, what would it mean to come from, a place like this and be, do something meaningful and, successful and stuff.
Yeah.
And it'd be I feel like it would mean a little more because, that's where your roots are and stuff. Yeah. And so,
all of that. And it certainly sounds like there's some heavy negative effects coming from global warming. So living in a coastal city coastal state may not be the best location at the moment.
Yeah. There's a real possibility.
This
California may not be a part of the U.S.
or Florida, especially. Oh my God. Get to Key West while you can, people.
Yeah. Dude, I thought that place was gone last year when all the tropical
That
storms
hurricane
and
was
stuff.
crazy that went through there. I actually watched it. They have like live security cameras you can watch on YouTube down there of like Mallory Square, this like main square downtown and stuff. And yeah, I watched that hurricane happen there. It was fucking insane. Insane. So
there's one more thing.
What do you got?
Well, for those of you that were there last night, the 6/21 June, was it? What is it? June? July?
June
21st. Talking about the breathing process, boreworm, vial secretion, bog wraith, Carnus immortalis, grave bloom show at Sanctuary.
At the Sanctuary in Detroit.
Which was amazing. And thank you to everybody that came out and, saw all the bands and stuff and came up and because I feel like so I guess like to preface this, the show that we had a month back was the first show that we had for the year. And I may have said that already.
First show ever in Detroit.
Yeah. Not only that, but yeah. And, first impressions, I guess, of the venue is what is a venue like that doing in a place like, like that part of Detroit and stuff. Like, it just kind of fits in kind of weird and stuff. It's kind of like...
Same time, Smalls is right down the street.
Yeah, which I didn't know prior to that.
Not before the last show had there, yeah.
So yeah, the first show that we had was the Tuck Truck with Archspire and all those other bands. We talked about it. And this one, I feel like went as good as I would have hoped that the first show went.
Okay.
To be honest with you.
Yeah, because you had some missing equipment in the first one.
Yeah, well, I actually, to be honest, I found out why. Because before, I posted a video on my YouTube of it. It's just something I was kind of fucking around with. But I set up, and it wasn't until the night before the last show last night that I really started thinking about it, and it all made sense to me. I was like, I feel fucking stupid. So a little while back I was kind of messing around with setting up, a drum kit differently, because the whole time I played either a 4 or 5 piece, I think. And I put up a video of me playing on a 3-piece kit, which is kind of totally different from what I'm used to and stuff. Just to, I don't know, because I felt kind of inspired a little bit by,
fucking around.
Yeah, a couple of different, mostly because I watched this video of Matt Halpern from Periphery, who set up his, I don't know, it was a 3-piece, a couple cymbals and stuff, just downtown, I don't know where South by Southwest is, but it's just him with that playing downtown for a bunch of people and stuff.
Hell yeah.
Or either that or at clinics and stuff. And I was like, man, that looks like fun. So so I decided to do that, and then I liked it so much that I had it set up like that for a little while. And then I put up that video and stuff, and then I was dumb and I didn't plan ahead, and then the night before or the morning of, I just kind of threw everything in this, because I don't know, anybody that's seen us or set up or whatever, I got this this big box that's got all this stuff in it, as far as the the stands and everything, just because it's easier, because before I had this this weird duffel bag that just sucked. It just it killed my shoulder all the time.
Yeah, I remember
it was just
that.
annoying.
Yeah.
Plus I don't know if it would work as well now, because I feel I have more to carry around and stuff. So having this thing, even though I wish it was a little bit easier to move around, because sometimes through doors and stuff, it's kind of a pain in the ass. It's like hauling a casket, kind of it's the same size, but it's I don't know, kind of awkward and everything. So yeah, I guess the night before the first show that we had, I'll twist it around.
No, you're fine.
Basically, when I was packing out for everything, I just kind of assumed that it was all set up the way that it should have been.
Right.
And it wasn't.
You didn't double check.
Yeah. And it wasn't. And the worst feeling that you could have is going somewhere and having to like rush to set up, because the first show, the Tech Trek show, we were first, and I didn't really take the time, unfortunately, and I should have been way more on top of it, I guess. You know, getting everything out, setting it all up, and it was like, shit, I don't have all my stuff. Yep. Like, this sucks a lot.
Yep.
You know, we pulled through it and stuff. And
you did.
It was cool.
You still played really well.
Yeah.
And it all sounded fantastic. You get anyone who questions it can go to Lost in the Dark's Instagram and look at the fucking, the videos up at the top of the page.
Yeah.
I think you guys are the most recent one on there.
Yeah.
That show.
It was, it was still cool. I still enjoyed that show. It was fun.
Dude, you guys had a fucking pit. And you were the first band on Memorial Day, Monday. Holiday Monday.
Yeah.
And you guys had a big crowd in a pit, and you were the first bands on.
Yeah.
You were the first band on. It was a fantastic show. The Tech Trek with Art Spire.
So
and who was the one I bought the CD of?
Inferi.
Inferi. Oh.
Inferi.
Inferi, however you pronounce it. Killer. Fucking fantastic.
Yeah. Since then, I've gone back and listened to a lot of those albums and stuff, because a lot of those bands I've gotten pretty into.
Hell yeah. I really liked them a lot.
Yeah. And then, so for last night's show, I was like, I want to be on top of it. I'm done with this.
Fuck yeah.
I'm going to prepare. So, like, the night before, I was going through everything and kind of made sure it was all kind of set. And then, like, it was just, because we were third up. We were just after Carnus, who were awesome. It was cool to see them again.
Hell yeah.
And even like the next show that we're playing at Max with Recorruptor is with them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. We were kind of talking about it last night.
That'd be cool to see them again. Hell yeah.
So it was them, and then Gravebloom from Detroit, actually.
Yeah.
They were first, and they're sick. I really enjoyed their set.
Hell yeah.
They had a lot of like, it was a little more like, I don't know how to describe it. It was like, I mean, it was all the bands were heavy this time, and it was cool because we were kind of like, I mean, it was, a good mix of like deathcore and like black metal and like death metal and stuff, and so I feel like where we fit with everything was a cool like place, I guess.
Hell yeah.
And just like watching them and stuff and being into that kind of, because like they had their moments of like, there was another band that we were talking about that kind of reminded me of them. It was Siren the Escape.
Oh, okay, yeah, I know that.
Yeah, they kind of sounded like them, but they were a little heavier.
Okay.
It was cool because they had a bunch of like different effects and stuff, and like the second to last song that they played was really cool. It had a bunch of different effects and stuff in it. So yeah, then we set up, and like it was one of those where like I was like, I don't even care, like I'm ready to do this. Like I felt like set with everything, like confident with everything and stuff, and like we started, and like it was one of those sets that kind of just, it felt like it lasted forever.
Oh.
Like it was weird because like, there are certain shows like, and none of them are really like better or worse than others, but like there are some that just feel like they're done too soon. You just kind of play through everything, but there's others that kind of feel like they just like you're up there for a good while.
Yeah.
Like, and even though it was like a half hour, like like 25 minutes, we still felt like it was, it was decent and stuff. And then afterwards, getting to talk to people and stuff, and it was one of those moments where I realized that like kind of got something here, like, and even before that, like I felt like we were pretty, had like a pretty unique standing and stuff, but it was one of those I felt like, just good about everything all around and stuff. And
so you're finally feeling how I've been feeling this whole time. Well, got something here.
I guess let me back up, because I've always really liked.
But I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
it's one of those moments where it clicks. It's really click. Yeah.
As far and I guess more in terms of like my playing and stuff.
Okay.
Than the actual like band and everything, because I've always kind of felt like we've had a pretty unique sound, and
I agree.
Kind of different as far as what's going on and stuff, but because I had been like, this was the second show that I had been messing around with like triggers and stuff, and that's a whole new world to me and stuff, and like even because we usually get together before the show and kind of run through the set and stuff, and that helps out a lot because, I mean, you just kind of like shake everything off and kind of like, you know, play through it all, and like, you know, it's so it's fresh, so that like a couple hours later, depending on when you play, like it's all, you know, you kind of work through things and you know like what you got to focus on and stuff.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's a really good idea.
So it was, and like even before then, like I was messing around with it and stuff, and I feel like I finally got it kind of locked into how I want it and everything. And like it's hard to explain because I think the first show that we played there, that was like the very first time I ever done it, and I felt like I had it, you know, kind of like set up a little differently because it's a weird like transition because when you what you're hearing in your headphones is different than what's in the monitors. So like when you think as far as like what you're going for with like the tone and like the sounding of it and stuff, like sometimes like the more bassy stuff doesn't really cut through enough. And I feel like I didn't really discover this until last night because I had it set to something different, but it was more like to pick up more of like the clarity of it and stuff because it wasn't really until like I got like we were done and everything that people were saying like, you know, like the different like techniques and stuff that I was doing was like they noticed a lot, and I was getting a lot of like cool different like, you know, compliments and stuff on it, which is nice.
Hell fucking
I guess some of which I felt like I mean I don't know, I didn't really feel like I knew how to accept. Like somebody was saying like they compared it to like Decapitated and stuff. Whoa. And I was like,
holy shit.
Yeah,
holy
like,
shit.
I was like, thank you, but like,
I mean, no. I fucking hey, these people are just preaching to my choir, for the record. I compare you guys to the best of them, like without question. Like I hear the raw talent in every single member of this band. It is fucking phenomenal. All of you are very, 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 very good.
Oh, thank you.
You don't have to respond. It's okay. I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but yeah. So go on though.
I don't know. Like it kind of just. I mean, I don't know. Like we're still in like. Even I don't know. It was one of those situations because like you didn't actually end up making it. And stuff.
No, I want to jump off a bridge.
Like, but I don't know. Like, I felt like, you know, it was, and like one of the things I was thinking of was like, not only because like we have, you know, and in a few days I'm pretty sure we'll have some like pictures and stuff because there was a few different like photographers there, but I guess I didn't realize how much video you take of everything, which is a good thing because it's like it's instant though.
Yeah, and
like it's cool
right
it's cool to be able to look back at that and kind of like
right away.
Yeah,
instant
like,
replay.
Yeah, because sometimes it's a weird thing too because sometimes when you're done and when you're like thinking back and everything, like how did it sound? Like how was it? Like were there parts where like that sounded different? Like how was this and like how was like tone of everything? And like it's cool to have that to kind of like reference and look back and be like, all right, yeah, that was cool.
That was
like,
good.
You know,
yeah.
Instead of being like, I hope that was good. Like I hope, you know, because that's always the thing is like as good as I feel like we play or like, you know, as good as I feel like the show went, like I still feel like in the back of my head, like, was it as good as I feel like it was in my head? Like when we were playing it, like on stage, like what I was seeing, was that as good as what was happening out in the crowd and everything? Like, you know, were people feeling it as much as I was into it, like as much as we were?
Because
we did. Sorry.
No.
I was because we did have, you know, I mean, a couple of songs in, we did have a good, you know, crowd reaction and stuff, and I saw a couple of different like, you know, pits happening and stuff. Yeah. So
at the end of the day, the crowd is never gonna get into it unless you get into it, and it's possible the crowd never gets as into it as you are, at least externally.
Yeah.
The more into it you get leaves an imprint.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, anytime I've ever seen a band where maybe there was only a few people putting the horns up and headbanging, maybe there was no pit at all. But if that band is on 11 right now, that's something that I fucking remember. You know what I mean? I'm like, this is the band I'm going to remember because they're the ones that turned it to 11 when nobody else was to get people moving. Like, that's, so that's, at the end of the day, that's all you can do is turn it to 11 every single fucking time. Well, let that be the standard, no matter what the crowd is. If it's one person, if it's 1,000 people.
I mean, I pretty much went into this full knowing that, like, because there's, and like also with, it was a big kind of like eye opener for the last show, like the first show, because it was the first time that in a long time that I'd ever felt like I didn't give enough, like I didn't. It was a weird like even
you said you windmilled though.
No, well not this one.
The last one.
The Tech Truck show.
Well, though, and the big. Well, you had full on earmuff headphones on.
Yeah.
Like you couldn't. You physically were incapable because of that to go as hard as you normally do.
I mean, that was kind of my all within not being prepared because for this one I brought different ones.
But what? I don't. At the same time. At all costs, protect the ears.
Yeah.
At this point, after what I've learned in the past year, at all costs, protect the ears.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Don't fucking care what you look like. That you can look as tough as you want right now, but when you're fucking 80 and can't hear shit, come talk to me. So.
Yeah. So, I mean.
Even though that's going to be me. But anyway.
Well,
I've already ruined them.
I mean, that was really kind of the mindset going into the one yesterday. Is I was like, I need to do everything that I didn't do for the first show and just make it the way that it should have gone and stuff. Because I felt, I don't know, it was a weird kind of like mindset. Like I felt like I was more like nervous about it, and like in that sense, I felt like I kind of let it get the better of me. Because even after like we got off stage and stuff, as far as like the Tech Truck show, I was like, man, like, there's more, like, I didn't, like, because I like, personally, and I think it was, I don't remember, I was, maybe it was, like, Clown from Slipknot that was saying, like, if you get off stage and you're not, like, sore, you're not, like, like, sweaty or, like, tired or whatever, then you didn't do it right or whatever, like, you didn't, I don't know who it was. And,
I co-signed that.
Yeah, and that was
a very true statement.
Yeah. That was one of the first times that I'd ever felt like I feel like I just didn't give enough. Like I didn't, and so like I felt like I was just more prepared for this one. And like, it was, I don't know, it was just cool. And then like seeing like the response from it and like talking to people afterwards and stuff. And it was one of those times where it was like, like you always hear all the time, like the real shows through. And, like, if you're serious about, like, what you're doing and stuff, and, like, if you're giving your all to it, then people, like, get it.
Yes, that's what I was saying about trying to 11 every time.
Yeah.
That's all you can do.
And it was just one of those moments where it was, like, this is good. Like, this feels right to me.
You're doing
like,
it.
Yeah.
I'm doing it.
So.
I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Fucking A, man. God, I am.
You ain't got to be sorry because, for one, they pushed the show back like a half hour because we were kind of behind and Boardworm showed up late.
Because of the traffic that I also got caught in, which is the reason why I didn't make it.
It was rough. Like there were a couple of times where I thought we were gonna like crash into somebody because it was.
Put it this way. I didn't even make it close enough to say fuck it. I'm at least going to Armando's.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I did not. I was expecting Armando's last night, and I didn't get it. So we may have to make a trip to Armando's next week just for the fuck of it.
Make up for it. Yeah.
Yeah, but oh man,
I'm hoping that somebody, because like shout out to I think it was Bands 411 or 411.
The photographer group. Yeah.
It was a Facebook page, and they were doing. They messaged. I'm pretty sure they hit up all of us. As far as like all the bands and stuff, because they were there throughout everyone's set.
Hell yeah.
But they said, you know, they were asking us if we wanted like pictures and stuff, which we did. So there should be some of those coming. But I'm hoping over the next couple of days that there'll be some video and stuff, because I really want to see that, be able to share it and stuff.
I want to see more. Yeah, I really want to see more of your set. There was one video that you guys shared on Instagram, but that was it, and you know, it was only 15 seconds, and that was it. I was like, come the fuck on. You can put more than that.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. Like, you're always on top of it. And stuff, and
I'm getting close-ups of every single person. Like, I'm doing all, because fucking A, like, this is to me, it's important. To me, like, for me personally, on a personal level, like, it's just important. Like, these are shows. A show only happens once, and then it's gone. Like, it's only those few minutes, and that's it, and it's special. Like,
I
magic.
I guarantee I felt the same way about Missing Architects that you did about the one last night.
Actually, yeah.
Like,
Yep. Because quite frankly, I'm not trying to toot anyone's horn here, but I listen to Bog Wraith more than the Architects. So I'm just saying. So, but yeah, no, yeah.
You just reached that point where you're like, I could show up, but at the same time,
I wouldn't see you, and that's what I'm going for. Like, I want to see you guys, like, but at the same time, that means that for the next show, I'm bringing the thunder, because it's the last show that you guys have of the year.
Yeah,
I believe it's July 25th, Thursday. I think it's July 25th at Max Bar in Lansing, hometown show.
Yep.
With the incomparable Recorruptor. Oh my God, I'm so fucking excited for that, dude. Holy shit. Carnus Immortalis, you just said? Yeah, I got the it's a great fucking poster they have. Or, you know, I don't know if it's a poster, but
the Summer Slamathon, I think it's called.
Yeah. Where did I have that? I have that saved somewhere.
The Green Leaves, I think, is the other band.
Oh.
Who were, I think, like, I want to say because I was looking up some of the stuff about them. I think they started off, they started off as like a 2-piece band, and then kind of like pieced it all together and stuff. But they're more of like a touring act and stuff. And I think there's one more band. I thought that it was Throne at one point, but I think that they
That'd
may
be
have.
Cool.
Yeah.
Throne's good.
Yeah, or no, it's
Summer Slamathon. Yeah, July 25th, 7 p.m. Max Bar, East Michigan Avenue, Lansing, Michigan. $7 in advance, $10 a door. So there was no reason not to go to this show. It's $7 fucking.
Yeah.
$7 fucking. Do you guys have tickets yet?
Yeah.
Yep. I'm gonna need 3. Just for the fuck of it. I will make 2 people go. I will make them go. I don't give a fuck.
And
Jesus Christ. You're kidding me? This is gonna be an amazing show.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Especially because we haven't played a show with Recorruptor since May.
Metal Fest?
Yeah. I was about to say Mayhem Fest.
I wish.
Yeah.
Yeah, Metal Fest. Yeah, that sounds about right. Stepping away for a second here. So what's the other band name that's going to be on that show?
So the next one we got at Max is the Summer Slamathon.
Summer Slamathon.
It's just the name they gave it. It's us, Recorruptor, Carnus Immortalis, and Pyrrhic. Green Leaves. Yeah, the Green Leaves and Pyrrhic.
How do you spell Pyrrhic?
It's Pyrhic.
So maybe that's how you say it.
Pyrrhic.
We don't know.
Yeah, I apologize.
We shall see. That's gonna be amazing, though.
Probably use like Swahili for like
Swahili,
Satan or something. I don't know. I don't know.
It could be. But yeah, I'm gonna try to get. Yeah, I'm gonna need 2 tickets at least. I'm gonna try to get as many people as I can to that show. Because that's legit gonna be a really good one.
It's right down the street.
I'm really excited. Yeah, it's right down the street, and anytime you and Recorruptor are on the same fucking bill, it's going. The building will be left in shambles. Let's put it that way.
They're just a fun band to play with. We haven't in a long time.
Yeah, I'm very excited.
Since last summer, so.
Very excited. It's July 25th. It's going to be awesome. Thursday. It's a Thirsty Thursday, people. Come out. Come the fuck out. But, of course, we will be doing many more episodes in between now and then. Fuck. You know, there was a news thing I wanted to talk to you about, but did you hear about that fire at the record place, Universal or something?
Oh, yeah. They burned all the original. Yeah.
I haven't actually read one of the articles yet. I just saw the headlines, but man, the music that got lost.
Yeah. That was a big deal.
It's a huge deal. Like that's
all the Nirvana.
Yep. Guns N' Roses, I think. Like
the original recordings of everything. Yeah. There's a lot more too. I don't remember what
the
it was.
Masters.
Yeah. Somebody I read a comment on there that kind of made me laugh. Somebody was like, "Why did they just make a copy of it?" It was like, because it wouldn't be the Masters. It wouldn't.
They did. That's what you hear.
Yeah.
They made billions of copies. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a week or so ago. Yeah.
Yeah, that was last week sometime. I read though that people were talking about like a lot of Eminem's early stuff might have been in there, but Eminem said he thinks that he has all of his masters or something like that. So
yeah,
something like that. But still, like, God, fuck, damn it.
Mm-hmm.
That blew my mind. I saw that. I was like, are you fucking serious? You guys lost all that shit? Oh man.
Yeah, that was heavy.
That is crazy to me. That is crazy to me. But yeah, I just wanted to fucking talk to you about. I need to read one of the articles. I'll go deeper on another episode, but yeah, that shit blew my mind. But let's wrap this up. Fucking, we're back.
Nope.
We're back in action. More everything, more episodes, more metal folklore episodes, more everything coming soon. I'm gonna fucking probably be recording Madman next week. But for now, fucking, if you're in the area or not, come to Lansing on July 25th. Max Bar, $7 in advance. I'm sure you can get the tickets on their website, or if you're local, hit up one of the bands on the bill. They will be happy to oblige. And yeah, besides that,
there was,
we got at the moment.
I guess, I don't know. We both had a lot of time to, like, listen to different stuff. So, like, what's on your playlist for the recently or for the week or whatever?
Good question, actually. I mean, Valino. I do got to do a review of that still.
Oh, yeah.
Valino, I still been listening to a lot of Berserker. And I'm still listening to Hexed a lot too, honestly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really liked the new Flesh God Apocalypse, so I've been listening to a lot of that. That's the newest thing.
I need to give that like a proper listen, because I wasn't like there's a lot of stuff on there that I liked that was like classic, Flesh God sounding stuff, but there's a lot of other like experimental stuff that hit my ears kind of weird the first time through.
There's some weird stuff on there.
Yeah, plus like it's a little on the lengthy side.
It is a long album.
Yeah, which I didn't really fully. Their last couple have been kind of long, but this one just felt like there was some points where it was, it's kind of dragged on a little bit. But maybe it was just because I wasn't like actively listening to it. It was just kind of like on.
Yeah. 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 That can make a difference, actually. Yeah, I know what you mean by that.
But
what about you? Yeah.
I
said Whitechapel earlier.
Yeah. I got back into their live, I don't know what it's called, Brotherhood of the Blade or something like that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cool stuff on that. The new Angel Maker, self-titled, is really sick, which I forgot that it came out, and then it came up on my playlist, and I was like, shit, I gotta listen to this.
Hell yeah.
Then there's band I've been jamming to a lot lately. They're called Cytotoxin. And they have like a lot of their music has to do with like, let me see where they're from, because that has a lot to do with it. I want to say they're from Germany. They're a German band, and a lot of their lyrics have to do with like nuclear disasters, like radiation kind of stuff. Like there's, I think the first song on there they have on let's see, what is it? It's called Gamageddon, which is like, dude, you gotta listen to it. Like it's a little on the like the grind side as far as like some of the riffing on it, but there's also like it's a good mix of like that and like just solid like groove stuff.
Hell yeah.
Which is cool. Like a lot of different stuff that you can kind of like, nod to.
Headbang to a little bit. Yeah.
But there's a song on there where it's the first song where towards the end of it they have this cool like Geiger counter sound.
Oh,
like
hell
like the little like that weird sound to it, but it's set to a breakdown, or it's set to like a little like rhythm to it.
Hell yeah.
Like it just, I don't know, like first time I heard it I was like, that is sick.
That's
like,
dope.
Why didn't I think of that?
Yeah.
So Cytotoxin, and then a lot of necrophagist.
Okay.
Necrophagist. I don't know. Epitaph. Like it's old as shit, but like for some reason like I can't stop. Like it's the right amount of like tech death. I've been really into tech death lately for some reason.
Hey.
So yeah, I guess all those.
Hell yeah.
And then breathing process too. Honestly, because like
sure.
I was kind of looking out, because that's something I've kind of gotten in the habit of doing, is listening to bands that we're playing with that I'm not super familiar with, or like bands in the past that we played with.
Mm-hmm.
And they're one of those that, because I think they put out a album a couple years ago called, I think it was like the Odyssey or Odyssey Undone or something like that. And I really liked, and so I went back to that, and then I also found out that they put out a new one last year, which is cool. But it doesn't, I mean, it's, I don't know, I feel like I like the other one a little better for like more like nostalgia reasons, but also just because it's kind of a different like vibe, I guess. Like it's a little more along the lines of like, it's like symphonic, like kind of like symphonic black metal with some like, I don't know, a little more like groove, like some more like breakdowns and stuff in it. So
hell yeah.
So yeah,
to check that out for sure. Savages.
Yeah.
Savages band too. Just came out with a new album, New Dimensions. Check that out there on YouTube and Instagram.
Yeah.
It's one I've been listening to. Savages with a Z.
Some like death sounding riffs in it. So like progressive. Kinda.
Sick.
So yeah.
It's sick. So yeah, that's about it. That's about it for this one.
Yeah.
All right. We will wrap this one up, and we will be back again very soon. Thank you all for getting lost with us tonight from the crypt. Love you all to death. Good night.